Another gorgeous night in Palm Springs as the Alameda Anchors look to make landfall tonight and hoping to derail the Power in this two-game series, one today and one tomorrow. My name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez here in the booth. You're listening here on Power Baseball YouTube and Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs. Palm Springs Power coming off of 2 wins against the Inland Valley Buccaneers over the weekend in a two-game away series. One of those games was just 7 innings. The other was a full 9 innings, but a back-and-forth affair throughout that entire effort, Charlie.
Yeah, it was. And, they really wanted to come back at the Inland Valley Association after that loss to the Legends on Saturday night because, losing is not something the Power we're used to. You can go and look at their history and their schedule. They usually they get the best players, and it's just normal for them to dominate. They came out with a fury, and they did it. So once again, we're gonna see some new faces though on the mound. Jaden McNeely getting his first start. He flew down here only 6 days ago from St. Mary's after finishing the collegiate season in the Corvallis Regional. And we have a couple other new players, some departures. We'll get into that, but it's a fresh week for the Power as they go and look to continue and get their 8th win of the season.
Continue to get their winning ways as they've always done. Last year, they only had 3 losses the entire season, so they just got handed their first one against the Inland Valley Legends. But McNeely, yes, on the mound tonight. He threw his Power debut back on that first game against the Inland Valley Bucks, threw for 2 innings in a relief effort, 1 strikeout, but majority strikes thrown, 12 strikes to just 4 balls in facing against 6 different batters in that game. And then the Power came in against the Inland Valley Bucks in the second game that started like right around the afternoon time. And then Inland Valley Bucks came up 5 runs in the 3rd inning. Power were down throughout the game, but then 5th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning, and then the 9th inning they were able to bounce back, but they finished that game in a close one at 11-10.
Yeah, 9-3 and 11-10. It's certainly, when you have to play a game that's shorter than the next one, it puts a lot on your players. And also, here's another thing about that: the game on Saturday, the Power went through multiple pitchers, and because that disastrous top of the 8th inning, they had to go through Amaviska and then Johnny Young, who eventually closed. These are things that they weren't prepared to do. Those are pitchers that Casey Dill probably wanted to save for that doubleheader, and then he couldn't really use them to their full extent. But now they won both games, and now it looks like they're back on track.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be back here on the Power Baseball YouTube and Fox Sports 1270 AM as we're getting the national anthem in just a few moments. But Justin Lee, Charlie Gonzalez, stay tuned. We'll be right back here. Back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs and Palm Springs Power YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee, alongside Charlie Gonzalez. Welcome, friends and esteemed colleagues, to yet another gorgeous night in Palm Springs, California. Tonight, like we said, Jaden McNeely is up on the bump. First game started this season for him. Like we said, 2 innings pitched the last time, 6 batters faced. When he was with St. Mary's, 7 appearances, only 1 game started, 8 and 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 9 hits, 5 earned runs, a 5.19 ERA. Not a whole lot of success there, but when you play at a D1 school, that still says a lot.
Yeah, it does, and he's a freshman, so expect what he was able to do this year to only be a stepping stone for him to do something even greater. And before the game, I was able to talk to him. After St. Mary's fell to USC in the Corvallis Regional, the coach really said, I want to congratulate all you guys on a great season, make it to a regional. You're one of the final 64 D1 teams alive in the playoffs, and it's just something to build on. And he feels more comfortable coming right down here after because he has a teammate, Blake Conrad, here just to help him settle in. So, yeah, Jaden feels like he's in a good spot, not just physically, but also emotionally, and he's not too particularly nervous about anything.
We'll see if that kind of comes into play here tonight. Tonight's lineup for the visiting Alameda Anchors from the Bay Area. We got Jafar Williams in the first hole, number 12, Paul Wagner in the second, number 311, John Klinkenbeard, number 4, Titus Wheelock, 21, Parker Hellickson at the DH position, 6th spot, 23, Guy Polizzotti, I think I'm saying that right. In the 7th spot, 2, Emmett Desmond. Number 8, in the 8th spot, number 8, EJ Cord, who is, I should note, if you are somebody that follows the PSCL a lot, you know that it's a former PSCL player from the Green Dragons back in 2023. And then finally in the 9th hole, we got 26, Elias Rubio.
Yeah, some of the players on the lineup sheet, they were written down differently than they are on the official page on the official roster, because Guy is actually, his full name is Gaetano, and then his last name is also spelled differently, so some discrepancies there.
There's been a few discrepancies this year in terms of just figuring out who we're trying to find and whatnot, but we've cleared it up. Like Grayson Gegg is not Greg, he's Gegg. But we're underway here as the first pitch is fouled off by Jafar Williams, who steps into the box for age 23 player, 6'3", 200 pounds from Jersey City, New Jersey. Was a two-way player at Shippensburg University. 30 games played, 22 hits. Led the team in triples in that one season in 2022 with 5 triples in total. Next pitch swung on and missed as Jalen McNeely delivers. He's already ahead here against Jafari Williams.
And you were mentioning how EJ Cord is a former PSCL player. Today was the first day of PSCL games, and I was over on the high school field scoring. I wish I was scoring the Bombers Colonials game. Drop
dirt strike gets by the glove of Casey Klein as it goes to the backstop. And this will be a strikeout, but in a weird way, as Jafar Williams will be safe at first base.
And that's one of those weird rules, that often confuses people, because, if you strike and it's strike 3, but it's a pass ball, they're allowed to advance anyway. And so that's how that will be ruled.
There's another strange way to score it on the baseball sheet. A K will be listed, and then it says drop 3. Here's the next delivery to Paul Wagner, who steps into the box here. He tries the bunt on the first pitch, pulls back, ball 1.
Yeah, 11 PSCL teams this summer. It was the Bombers and the Colonials, and you are going to get a little bit of that action too, aren't you?
At some point, well, it doesn't seem like tomorrow will be the day, but soon to be. PSCL, a lot of games this year. If you know the Power Summer Collegiate League, a lot of playtime for a lot of different guys. I think it was 11 teams this year, newer faces, newer people. A lot of younger college athletes participate. Last pitch was fouled off on the bunt. It looked like Kirkland had a chance at that first base side, but way out of his reach. Pickoff attempt at first base, as Jafar Williams will get back in safely. Wagner from Alone College, 39 games, 29 hits in total, 4 home runs and 14 RBIs. This is a fairly good batter in the box here in the 2 spot, and right behind it would be Klinkenbeard. Swing and a miss on the off speed as they try to go for the second base. Jafar Williams will get there. Nobody covers the bag as it just takes a one hopper into the glove of Rodriguez covering. And Williams will be safe with the stolen base. But it's a 1-2 count here to Paul Wagner.
The Alameda Anchors, they're in the Bay Area Collegiate League, and they've won a couple of championships in recent years. So much like the Inland Valley Legends, this is a team that's expected to give the Power a run for their money, and that's not what the Power saw in the first handful of games this season.
Here's a 1-2 delivery. Got a piece of it right between the gap. It goes into the outfield. Ritter will cover. Jafar Williams stops in his tracks at third. And Wagner's up at first base with a single. The first hit of the day for the Anchors.
And good decision by Jafar Williams, because he was leading off of second, and he waited for the ball to get past him because he didn't want to be tagged out for runners interference. And when he turns around, he's expecting the shortstop to be there. He's not. He says going in the outfield. He takes off for third. So that stolen base paid off.
So now runners at the corners here for John Klinkenbeard. Third baseman for this team from Hartnell College and University of San Francisco steps in. Here's the first delivery as he fouls it off, and Wagner was already off the first base bag trying to steal second. He'll have to take a little bit of a walk back. How about Klinkenbeard? I don't think this is probably the first gentleman that I've called a game or met in my entire life that is named Klinkenbeard.
It sounds like an old English name to me.
It does.
Like Old English, you know?
Pickoff attempt at first. Everybody stays where they are.
And John Klinkenbeard, in high school, he was the 20th ranked third baseman in the state of California and 283rd overall in the nation.
This is a big guy too, 6'3", 200 pounds. Right behind him is another big guy as he fouls off the next pitch from McNeely as it goes out of play into the parking lot. Next guy behind him would be Titus Wheelock in the on-deck circle. 6'1", 260 pounds. The biggest guy on their roster for the Anchors. 0-2 is the count here to John Klinkenberg with runners at the corners. Wagner at first, Williams at third. They get him in between. It's Wagner trying to steal second base. They're caught up in the middle of it as he goes to the ground. It was Gonzalez. The ball gets away. Jafar Williams will score. Wagner will turn around second and get to third. Oh, boy. And that is not how you want to give up the first runs to the Anchors.
Well, at first I was looking to score that maybe 1-3-4 on a pickle, but then, for some reason, at second base, Rodriguez decides to throw it over to third base, and it was a bad throw, and that allows Jafar Williams to score and Paul Wagner to advance all the way to third. So not ideal, and there's still no outs here in this first inning.
It looked like he tripped on himself when he was trying to throw over to third base as he was going to the ground. That was maybe not the best decision. Still is an 0-2 pitch here to Klinkenbeard as he goes after it, swings and misses, and strikes out. So 2-1 away here as Wheelock will step in. So Anchor's already up on the board 1-0 after a wacky play as they were trying to catch Paul Wagner in between his stolen base, and then they threw to third base to try to get Jafar Williams, and nothing happening there. And then they threw the ball away from Gonzalez as it goes to the Power dugout. Jafar Williams scored on that play, and then Wagner followed behind him all the way to third base. The first pitch to Wheelock is in there for a strike as he swings and misses. Here's the second one. He fouls it off way over the press box, and he's behind in an 0-2 count already.
And we saw the Power fall behind early against the Legends on Friday. The one issue was that wasn't anything really self-inflicted. That was completely avoidable, and they find themselves in a one-run hole.
This one's down the third base line and picked up and out of play. Still remains an 0-2 count.
Yeah, the sun creeping in here at Palm Springs Stadium is a little bit of the left field, most of the infield, and it's really the right fielder and center fielder who have to bear the brunt of the heat for a little while longer.
It's a good thing Mount San Jacinto is on that left base side covering us from the sun as it's popped up in the air from Wheelock. Coming in is Moon. Tagging from third is Wagner. He'll stop in his tracks. It's a good throw from KJ Moon out in the outfield, and that will keep him there at third base. So Wagner stays there, but pop fly 2 away here in the top of the first.
And when the ball was on its ascent and descent, he had to keep an eye out for the sun, because he was not looking at it straight up, and that's when it was made difficult to see.
Stayed close enough to the infield too, where Wagner made the decision to stay there at third base. Probably a good decision because they most likely would have got him at home. Here's Parker Hellickson up to bat. tipped into the glove of the catcher Casey Kleiman and in there for strike one. He is the DH tonight for the Anchors.
It goes to Santa Barbara City College. Has played in 38 games his freshman year, but only 7 this year.
Swing and a miss on the 0-1 pitch, and he's behind again. So a lot of strikes thrown by McNeely so far. He's only pitched, it looks like, just 1 ball to each of the 5 batters that he's faced thus far. Got 2 away here, but already gave up a run, but that was not his fault as he gets him to swing and a miss on the next pitch. 0-2 delivery and a strikeout swinging. So what should have been 3 strikeouts for McNeely turns into a run allowed by his own defense. And the Power behind 0-1 to start things off here in the top of the first. We'll be back here in the Power Baseball YouTube channel on Fox Sports 1270.
Family setting, you know, we come and we get into conversation, and it's comfortable here is what I guess I'll say. It's comfortable.
The hot cocoa has whipped cream and sprinkles in the whipped cream in the hot cocoa.
Very family oriented. You know, they cater to the kids. They got the coloring books and crayons, and they have kid-sized stuff about almost for everything that you would want. So young and old, everybody can enjoy it.
It's the best.
Made from scratch memories. Elmer's.
Back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM, Palm Springs and Palm Springs Power YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez right next to me here in the Uncle Caliente Casinos booth. Take a look at the lineup for the Power. Number 5, Michael Gonzalez, who's in his 2nd game in a row in the leadoff spot tonight. At the 2nd spot, it's Jamal Ritter. Miles Walton right behind him. In the 4th spot, it's Brian O'Neill, the designated hitter role today, instead of Mark Kirkland, who's now in the 5th spot right behind him. And the 6th spot, KJ Moon. 7th, Casey Kleiman, and his brother right behind him at the 8th spot, Cato Kleiman. And the last man on the lineup is number 16, Isaac Rodriguez. Starting pitcher for the Alameda Anchors will be Adam Aboud, number 16, from Citrus College. Stepping in will be Michael Gonzalez, who had himself a nice start at that leadoff spot against the Inland Valley Buccaneers. 2 at-bats with 5 plate appearances, 1 hit, 3 RBIs on 2 hit-by pitches. Here's the first delivery. We've got a submarine pitcher up on the mound as that one is way up and outside. 1-0 is the count.
The low and outside sidearm pitch is something rare no matter what level you are in baseball, and that pitch was way outside the box. We'll see if he gets more control as the game goes on, but there's ball 2.
2-0 is the count. Upstairs, same spot again. We saw a different pitcher much like that. I feel like it was the San Diego Bombers who had the submarine pitcher the last time we saw a guy who throws under his waist. Here's a 2-0 count for Michael Gonzalez. Fouls it off to the back net.
You know, the pitching coach for the Alameda Anchors was telling me one of their players who went to the Oakland for the first time, they were driving by the old Oakland Coliseum, the old home of the A's, and he asked, "Oh, who plays there?" And said, "Oh, that's the whole home of the A's." And he said, "Well, why don't we just rent that out?" And I'll have more on that story in just a second.
That one is upstairs and misses the strike zone for a 2-2 count. So even it up. Michael Gonzalez waiting up. Sorry, 3-1 count.
And apparently, so what happened at Oakland Coliseum was it's not just a field left ready to play baseball. They dug up all like the pitcher's mound and like the bullpens and everything. So it would need a lot of work to get it back to up to snuff for baseball.
Walk here for Michael Gonzalez on the 3-1 pitch. He will be on board. And Jamal Rear will step in, who is also, by the way, wearing a New Jersey number instead of the usual one that he's had throughout the season. He's now wearing number 10.
Yeah, we've had a few departures and new arrivals in the last couple of days, and caught both of us by surprise, and yeah, some number changes as a result.
Here's the first delivery way outside as it gets away from the glove of Desmond. Chasing and going after as the ball gets away from the covering shortstop. And Cord and Wagner back there to save it. And a stolen base for Michael Gonzalez on the first delivery.
Yeah, in spite of the early leadoff and the ball, Desmond was able to throw it in time. It was just not complete accurate, and so as a result, Cord was forced off the bag, and Mike Gonzalez is safe.
1-0 count to Jamal Ritter here. Off-speed pitch, got him looking. So 1-1 count to Jamal Ritter, who went 0 for 2 against the Inland Valley Buccaneers. 1 RBI on a walk and a sacrifice fly. Here's the next delivery. Inside pitch gets jammed up as it takes a one-hopper nearly over the glove of the first baseman Wheelock, and he's safe. With the covering pitcher and Adam Abu not able to get there. A lot of speed at that first base line, and Jamal Ritter and Michael Gonzalez moves over to third in the meantime.
What slowed Wheelock down on that was it bounced just as the last second. He leaped as high as he could, but by that time, Jamal Ritter had already picked up speed, and the pitcher didn't realize it in time, and so he's safe. And you could tell he was going to be safe just by the speed they were both at and the distance down the line.
So runners at the corners, just like the Anchors did in the top of the first inning. Here's Miles Walton, who's had himself a really good season thus far for the Power. First pitch in there, and nobody goes after Jamal Ritter. He takes second with complete ease. With the bases at odds, too. So 0-1 count to Miles Walton here. Got himself a run, 1 RBI. Struck out 3 times against the Bucks. Next pitch fouled off. But Walton this season's most hits in the entire roster. 16 hits so far this season. Right behind him would be Mark Kirkland with 10 hits. And he's got 10 RBIs, tying right next to Bryant O'Neill. Here's the next delivery. Fouls it off to the opposite net. So 1-2 count now. And right behind him is a guy who we typically have seen in the 5th hole, but now he's in the designated hitter spot, and in the cleanup spot is Bryant O'Neill. And what a stretch he's had so far this season. How about 2 doubles in 2 games against the Inland Valley Bucks? Here's the next delivery, way upstairs. 2-2 count to Miles Walton. And that's another guy we've kind of looked at in the preseason, Bryant O'Neill, with a lot of power, hefty power, just like Mark Kirkland. We knew that he was going to be able to do it, but how about the most doubles on the team at 7? That one's grounded to the first baseman. They go after the lead runner at home, tries to put his hand under, but he's out anyways. That's Michael Gonzalez as he's taken down at the plate. Good awareness from Wheelock to make it that play at home. So fielder's choice here for Miles Walton, gets himself on base.
And sometimes we see that where the first baseman has an eye, and him and the runner at third base, they share eye contact, and he says, hey, if you take off and this goes right to me, I'm throwing it home. But they didn't have to advance. The bases were not loaded. He could have waited patiently, and we could be in a loaded bases perhaps situation depending on that decision he makes. But instead it's 1 out, and we have runners at third and first.
So they save a run here as Bryant O'Neill steps into the box, 3 for 4 on Sunday, as Miles Walton will go take the bag at second base, with Jamal Ritter still threatening at that third base bag.
Yeah, we see a lot of people who take off to steal second, and the catcher, it's just too late, and they know it's not even worth it. It's not something you often see in the major leagues, but here it's happened a lot. The Power have done it, and so have their opponents.
Next pitch is outside, stopped by Desmond at the catcher position. O'Neill, 2 doubles like we talked about, 2 RBIs, 1 sacrifice fly as well. And he's hitting 562 on the season, though, so far. That leads the team in batting average. So next delivery, he goes after it, sends it flying over the grandstand here at the ballpark. 2-1 is the count. It's also Pride Night tonight. $3 beers at the ballpark as well. So anyone who wants to turn off their TV, or if you're watching this on stream, come down to the ballpark and come enjoy some beers with us. We can't drink in here because that's obviously not our job title.
Yeah.
Here's the next delivery, 2-1 outside, 3-1 now to Bryant O'Neill.
Although beer sampler does have a nice ring to it.
It's very true.
Yeah, but it's definitely a cool. It's a cool night here, and there's some other like position changes around here as PSCL started. And it was good to get a kind of experience in each role.
Popped up in the air on the 3-1 pitch. And running after it is Williams on the left field corner. It doesn't look like anyone has it, and Polizzotti does, as Jamal Ritter will tag up and score. And the score is now even at 1 apiece. Power answer right back here in the bottom of the first.
A sacrifice fly deep into left field, and it was kind of in left center territory, so it could have been either for Polizzotti or Williams. And he caught it over his head, but it was too deep, and there was no way they were going to be able to tag out Jamal Ritter before he came home.
So they answer back here with the run and the sacrifice fly from courtesy of Brian O'Neill. Still a runner at second in Miles Walton, and here's Mark Kirkland who steps in with 2 outs here. First pitch delivery in the strike zone, takes a swing and a miss. Kirkland was 1 for 2 with 2 runs and 1 walk against the Buccaneers in the second game over the weekend. He's kind of really taken that fifth spot. Here's the next delivery, another one that was in the strike zone and a little upstairs this time, and he swings and misses at that one, so he's already behind in the count, 0-2.
We'll keep an eye on Miles Walton in a second because, the shortstop not too far away from a pickoff attempt, but the second baseman way far away from second, and as well Adam Abowd keeping a close eye on him.
That pitch is upstairs, nearly got the zone, but it's outside anyways, 1-2 count. And Miles Walton has 9 stolen bases so far this season. That's the team lead. KJ Moon is on deck as he awaits. There goes Walton. And that one's fouled out from Mark Kirkland. Keeps it a 1-2 count still as Walton will go back to second. A lot of good events coming up for the Power here on the schedule this weekend. A lot of city events happening. Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce is having their summer social tomorrow night against the Anchors again. That's at 6:30 p.m. Bark in the Park is on June 17th, so bring your dogs along. 1-2 pitch. Kirkland goes after it, sends it up in the air. Jafar Williams has to come in, takes a one-hopper in the outfield. No one's going to go after it. And Miles Walton was already around third, and he scores. Mark Kirkland gets an RBI single to make it 2-1 as the Power take the lead.
And at first I thought, Miles Walton, he wasn't really hustling around the bases, and the center fielder, Williams, he could have thrown that in quicker. But then as I saw how hesitant he was, it made sense as to why he wasn't hustling. But sometimes where that ball lands in the outfield and the speed that Miles Walton was running at, that could have resulted in an 8-2 pickoff, and they wouldn't have been expecting it. But they got the RBI, and now they have their first lead of the game.
So here's KJ Moon, who steps in, went 2 for 3 with 2 walks and 1 run himself. Ball, first pitch is upstairs for a ball. Mark Kirkland at first base after hitting an RBI single. The Power already working off just like they did against the Buccaneers, just getting multiple hits as much as they can. This is a team that just knows how to get hits. Not a lot of power on those bats besides Mark Kirkland and Brian O'Neill.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Next pitch was in there for a strike. 1-1 is a count to KJ Moon here. Thanks for catching me on that. Here's the next delivery inside. Got the strike zone in the inside corner. And KJ Moon tilts his head. Didn't really like that call there. It was almost similar to the Manny Machado call from last night against the Dodgers.
Ooh, yeah, some of our colleagues did not like that, but I did.
If you didn't know, Charlie Gonzalez is our local Dodger fan, as Kirkland is caught up in the middle of it. The ball is 2 men collide with each other, and Gordon Wagner, no play at second, as Kirkland will get in there on what seems like an infield mistake.
And usually when the pitcher is able to throw to the first baseman before the base runner is halfway to second, that means, it's dead in the water, they're fishing the barrel. That wasn't the case. The shortstop came in, the throw went a little too high, he got behind him, and he slid in fair, and now they're going to have an infield meeting.
I think you could say that That shortstop also saved a pass ball that could have gone into the outfield and gave Mark Kirkland maybe another stolen base too if he wanted to, but they were able to keep it secure. But a little bit of a rough and tough run into each other there at second base, and it looks like Coach Jerry Gibbs is going to talk to the rest of his guys in the infield because things are kind of falling apart a little bit here, and it's only the bottom of the first inning here.
Now the umpires are going out to talk to him as well.
Umpires tonight, John Kibble is the home plate umpire. Base umpire is John De Kaiser. They'll be managing the game here tonight. The PSCL is also, you can catch those games in the morning time if they're being broadcast here at Palm Springs Stadium or from one of our broadcasters being scored at the field that's adjacent to us at the turf field, and right behind that would be the high school field as well. All those fields being used currently right now for the PSCL. And a lot of good talent amongst those ranks too.
Yeah, and those unfortunately those two other fields don't have an internet connection, so those will only be scored, but you can always check social media. Our PSCL photographer and social media manager, Paige Perez, always does a good job with that, so always check the Palm Springs Power socials as well as the Power Summer Collegiate Collegiate League socials. The tongue twister.
It is a tongue twister. Fouled off by KJ Moon as we're back in play here. Still remains a 1-2 count.
KJ Moon, a Southern Belle from Statham, Georgia, but has some family out here, so it's not all unfamiliar.
Again, this was a guy who the locker room was really raving about just the potential that was there as he swings and misses on the next pitch, and that goes down on a strikeout. So, strikeout here, but the Power have taken back the lead after the Anchors take one in the top of the first inning, and Power scored two right after that. We'll be back here on the Power YouTube channel, Fox Sports 1270 AM.
Somewhere down there is you. And just like us, you're an amazing Palm Springs vacation home. I bet we have a lot in common. Elevated, yet down to earth. A place to soak it up, sip it down, and make a splash. A place where staying in is even better than going out. Not just a place for visiting. A place for living in the moment. That moment when vacation dreams become reality. You're one of Palm Springs' best kept secrets. Let's show you off. Because you're so much more than just a home. You're a destination. You're an adventure. You're an idyllic escape. You're a happy place.
Replaced or repaired? Then go company. We do it all. Renew installs, retrofits, and 100 years overcommitted to bringing you the best garage doors, commercial accessories. Whether you need a garage door for your home, a commercial door for your business, or integrated door system application, remember Red Ribbon logo. You are genuine. The Aurora products and service you need. Look for the Red Ribbon for products that are reliable and safe. Our service tech.
Back here in the top of the second inning as the Power are back on top, 2-1. If you're just joining us, Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez up here inside the booth. And another inning for Jaden McNeely as he'll face off against Guy Polizzotti, Emmett Desmond, and E.J. Cord in the hole. Power got away with being able to get out of that top of the first inning, only giving away one run, as that's in their first strike on the first delivery to Guy Polizzotti. Power responded with 2 runs of their own in the bottom of the first inning. That one's also in their first strike on the outside edge. Already behind Guy Polizzotti, who's in the 6th hole tonight.
Yeah, McNeely is a D1 arm, and it's certainly showing.
Nearly tried to swing, no check swing. Appealed to the first base umpire, says he did not go on 1-2 count.
And as you were talking about earlier in the first inning, that is, he only threw one ball in the entire first inning. That was only the second ball he's thrown this entire game.
1-2 pitch, opposite side. Rodriguez able to pick it up on the grounder, throw to first, and the first out of the inning. It's a 4-3 put away.
Here comes the catcher, Emmett Desmond.
from Hartnell College. 4 home runs, 16 RBIs in 28, or hit a 228 batting average at Hartnell College. 6'2", 190 pounds for a catcher, as the first pitch is a little bit upstairs.
He was the 71st ranked catcher in the state of California in high school, according to perfectgame.org, and the 664th best catcher overall.
Next pitch is fouled out and popped away for a 1-1 count against Emmett Desmond. It's a bit of a change-up in the lineup for the Power as well, with Cato Kleiman standing there at that 8th spot in the lineup tonight, where he's usually been, actually he's kind of been floating around there, I should say. Next pitch is fouled off upstairs to Emmett Desmond. Now he's behind in the count 1-2. And Casey Kleiman in the 7th hole, it's a different story, where he's been in the leadoff spot usually.
Because of those some roster changes, some departures, some new arrivals, Casey Dills had to change things around a bit.
Swing and a miss. Emmett Desmond goes down on a strikeout. There's number 4 for Jaden McNeely here in the top of the second inning, 2 away. So here comes the former PSCL player in EJ Cord, who put a little bit of playing time here back in 2023, but now with a different squad in the Alameda Anchors, as he'll step in.
He's from Berkeley, California, so he's playing for a team just down the road from his hometown.
The Alameda Anchors, 2-time Bay Area Collegiate League champions, so CPCL champions versus the BACL champions. That pitch is outside for ball 2. Power also back-to-back champs, I should remind everybody here, for the California Premier Collegiate League 2023 and 24. Here's the next delivery. Grounded up outside the glove of McNeely. Running over is Gonzalez. Tries to secure. One-hands it. Not in time at first base.
And it took an odd hop. I think they're going to rule that a hit. Because that infield, right as the grass turns into dirt, there are some few bumps right there. It's still some of these infielders, especially if they're not used to playing the positions they are, they're not used to fielding balls that bounce off that uneven turf. So I think that will be ruled a hit and not an error.
Slow roller 2. Just a little bit of a struggle there from Gonzalez to try to pick it up, but a lot of speed by EJ Cord as he's on board. Here's the next delivery to Elias Rubio as he watches strike 1. So runner at first base, 2 gone here in the top of the second inning. 2-1 ball game. Power still on top. McNeely sets up and delivers. Swing and a miss, off-speed pitch. Now we can try to put away Elias Rubio from Antioch, California, San Joaquin Delta College. As he sets up here, 0-2 delivery on the way, outside. You talked about some of those departing players. Hudson Bonko no longer with us. Signed with the Billings Mustangs in the Pioneer League. He literally just threw for 1 inning, threw 93 miles per hour was his top speed, and immediately got signed the day after.
Yeah, and was a player of the game on opening night as well, and that was it for him.
But that's kind of the goal of the Power team, is to try to get a lot of these guys who are in the latter part of their college careers, try to get them some play time, get them in the professional field. Hudson Bonko was looking for that for a long time. Now he finally gets a chance with the Pioneer League. Here's a 1-2 delivery outside, 2-2 count. And a few other guys who were former Power players as well. Holden Phelps went to the New York Boulders in the Frontier League, and Kenneth Schechter, my goodness, who played in 2022 to 2024, signed with the Gateway Grizzlies, also in the Frontier League. Sent flying up in the air in the vicinity of Walton as he's backing up towards that warning track. He makes the catch for the final out. So only 1 hit here in the top of the second, no runs allowed. Power still up on top, 2-1.
Building your business is no small undertaking, and you need the right team by your side. Whether you're just getting started or expanding nationwide, Pacific Premier Bank is here to support your business every step of the way. As your trusted banking partner, we can help guide you down the right path with customized solutions designed for your business. We'll help you achieve the success you deserve. Pacific Premier Bank. Let's build your future together.
Back here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel, Fox Sports 1270 AM. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez at my side here tonight. The Power are still up on top 2-1 after they answered back, giving up a run at the top of the first inning to the Anchors. The Power able to get the lead back with just 2 hits, a sacrifice fly, a fielder's choice, and a walk. And then capped it off with a strikeout to KJ Moon. So, Casey Kleiman and Cato. Kleiman will be the next few batters, including Isaac Rodriguez in the hole here. So the Kleiman brothers will step in here in the bottom of the second inning. And again, like you said, replacing a lot of those players who are no longer here on this roster for the Palm Springs Power. A few other guys like James Rivera and Peyton Von Cano are also missing from the lineup tonight.
Peyton Von Cano was a late arrival, and now he's an early departure, so we didn't really get a reason, but I talked to him once. He seemed like a nice guy, but now he's gone.
First pitch delivery way upstairs. There was also a few rumors in the locker room that Von Cano was probably just going to stick with the PSCL, I believe. So there's a reason why he's not here on the Power roster, probably just sticking to that PSCL play instead. So 1-0 count here to Casey Kleiman, went 1 for 2 over the weekend. That one's in there for a strike, delivered by Aboud.
You know, one thing that's cool about the Agua Caliente Casino booth today, I was able to find out that this fan actually has the lowest speed at the very end, so I could turn it on and have it cooling us down without it going over the broadcast. Isn't that nice?
I think people would have been mistaken for like an actual fan, like a person, possibly, but good thing that it's not going out over the airwaves. 2-1 count, inside pitch fouled off. 2-2 count here to Casey Kleiman.
The sun is set behind Mount San Jacinto, so now the shade has engulfed the entire field, and no more staring into the sun this evening.
Casey Kleiman hitting a .269 batting average so far this season, as that next pitch is upstairs and gets away from the glove of Desmond, and so a full count here to Casey Kleiman.
It doesn't matter where they are in the lineup. One Kleiman will always follow the other. Usually it's Casey leading off, Cato at the very bottom, and Casey will follow back up. And now they're 7 and 8. They're inseparable.
That one's upstairs. They check with the base umpire, and no appeal. And that's a walk for Casey Kleiman leading off here in the bottom of the second.
It's the second inning where the leadoff batter has gotten on for the Power. First was Mike Gonzalez, and now here it is Casey Kleiman. His brother Cato was playing at third after the departure of star third baseman Rylan Evans. That's where he's starting tonight, getting some reps in the down the third base line.
Casey's at first base. He hits righty. His brother Cato swings lefty. He tries to square up for a bunt as that pitch is outside. That must be a crazy 1-2 combo to have your own brother behind you, and against a righty pitcher here, let alone being a lefty batter, he'll probably try to bunt it down that third base line. Here's the next delivery. Yes, he does, but he bunts it right up to the pitcher as he goes to the ground, and somehow it's scooped up by the first baseman Wheelock, and they get him at first base. So a sacrifice bunt moves over Casey Kleiman to second now.
That could have been disastrous because the pitcher, Adam Aboud, slipped when he went to field the ball. He threw it, and it still made it to Wheelock in time.
And just like we've seen in that top of the first inning with Rodriguez trying to make a play when someone was caught up in the middle of a pickle, he also went to the ground but made a mistake. But good job by Aboud to stay up or be able to make that play from his own tush.
He's just sitting down like he's playing Duck, Duck, Goose.
Upstairs pitch to Isaac Rodriguez, seeing his first pitch of the at-bat today. Just served as a pinch runner against the Bucks, scored a run himself. Another guy who's got a lot of speed on this roster. 3 stolen bases so far this year. There's a 1-0 pitch inside. Rodriguez had to get out of the way from it for just a moment.
And from our vantage point, the batter's boxes and the home plate, the lines, because of the PSL games that were happening earlier, all the dirt that kicked up, we can't really see them anymore, and we can't see the plate because we're directly behind the umpire and the catcher.
Next pitch was in there for a strike as you watch as they go by. This is one of the only few guys on the roster from Hawaii. He's from Aiea, 5'10", 150 pounds freshman at College of the Desert. So you go from a tropical place in the middle of just the desert, and as that one's picked up by the first baseman, he throws to the pitcher. They miss his glove entirely, and coming around and scoring will be Casey Kleiman. And Power up 3-1 now.
And that's going to be a difficult one to score, but what is certain is that was a throwing error by the Titus Wheelock at first. The only thing is, had even throw been on target, would have been in time to tag out Isaac Rodriguez, and I don't think so. I think they're going to give him a hit, and I think Casey Kleiman will advance to third on the single by Isaac Rodriguez and then advance home on the E3.
So it's another error back-to-back. And we're back to the top of the lineup with Michael Gonzalez stepping in.
That 3-1 combo from Wheelock at first to About on the mound when they're trying to pick off a base runner, it hasn't worked so far. And especially when it's the assist is going to the first baseman. So far, both runners have been safe.
So Isaac Rodriguez is at first base. Infield hit. And that pitch is inside upstairs. 2-0 count. Michael Gonzalez. He led off the top of the first, or bottom of the first, rather, with a walk of his own. And then he ended up scoring after taking a stolen bag. And then being scored by Jamal Ritter. Pitch is outside. 3-0 count.
One of a handful of Cal State San Bernardino players here, along with Hudson Myers and Tyler Nelson. It's not too far from Palm Springs. It's the best. Mike Gonzalez said it was kind of the best option he had as far as summer ball, and he had some teammates go, and he's like, why the heck wouldn't I?
That's in there for a strike. At least that's what it looked like from the umpire. No, he just sends him to first base. So that's a walk for Michael Gonzalez. 2 walks back-to-back in 2 at-bats for Michael Gonzalez as he'll waltz to first.
Yeah, at first it looked like he was making the strike indication, but he deferred to the infield umpire, but he wasn't down the first base line, so that was a very a strange hand motion he made there. And now we have the shortstop, or the second baseman, coming and talk to About on the mound.
Had me confused for a second there as well, with just the way he had his hand out there like that and signaling it. There's also a newer guy for the Power that we have yet to introduce later on, which is Alex Hawking. He's going to wear number 31. Another local guy from College of the Desert. So the Power is still filling up this roster with a lot of College of the Desert locals from the region here in the Coachella Valley. So 2 runners, 1 at first, 1 at second. Jamal Ritter watches the first pitch in there for a strike. That was on the outside edge of the strike zone.
Jamal Ritter had a very productive at-bat in the first inning. He got on with a single, stole second, advanced to third on the fielder's choice during Miles Walton's at-bat, then came home to score a run.
Sends that one flying down the right field side. That one gets near the turtle out there in right field, and the stands in way out of play. That was absolutely jacked.
Looks like it bounced over to the fence in the parking lot that we share with the nearby high school.
Jamal Ritter's not exactly a big power hitter, but he's got that ability. Here's the 0-2 delivery upstairs. 1-2 count to Jamal Ritter.
And when I parked at in that parking lot, I thought, oh no, I might get a ticket. And then I went back to my car later and I was like, okay, good. Maybe there's a lot of people associated with Palm Springs and PSCL that are parking here. So, whew, I was not looking to pay a citation.
Looks like Jamal Ritter's got some dirt in his eyes right now, so he steps out of the box here as looks like he's ready to go. A lot of dirt kicked up on that last pitch just now.
And speaking of the dirt as well, a lot of the catchers rub their glove in the dirt so that when the ball hits it, a plume of dust pops up, and that's kind of what happens. That's what happened there with Jamal Ritter.
Here's a 1-2 delivery. That was in the strike zone as he fouls it off to the third base side near the picnic area here at the ballpark. Another thing to mention is that Jamal Ritter's cousin, Ryan Ritter, with the Colorado Rockies organization, who got called up recently, got his first hit a few days ago. So baseball is in the blood of Jamal Ritter, who is, by the way, also looking to try to get drafted in the MLB this season. So he's another guy that could disappear halfway through as he goes up the middle. And that one's into the outfield, rounding around, and scoring will be Isaac Rodriguez as the ball gets away. Michael Gonzalez will go to third, and Jamal Ritter will step on second. They could not find their relay man, and now it's a 4-1 ball game for the Power.
That was very eventful, and for a couple of reasons. One, you had, once again, a throwing error. I think that's going to be on the center. It looks like it was going to be on the center fielder. And then you have an extra base runner going, not just one extra base, but two. And so when you talk about like things going your way, it didn't look like things were going to go their way in the top of the first inning with that error that resulted in the Anchors taking an early lead. But now all the momentum is in Power's favor.
So the Power have runners at second and third now after a bad relay from the outfield. And Jamal Ritter's RBI single, who scored Isaac Rodriguez as well. And here is Miles Walton, who reached on a fielder's choice just earlier. Now one's outside for a ball, 1-0. So some struggles here for Adam Aboud. He's already given up 4 different runs, 4 hits, and 2 walks to start off within 2 innings and a third, or 1 inning and a third. That one's grounded, picked up by Cord. He throws a first, and that will get the out there, but scoring is Michael Gonzalez to make it a 5-1 ball game.
5-1. It feels like only a minute ago that they were down 1-0. In this game, it feels like it's going fast-paced based on how many base runners, but it's actually kind of slow considering how long ago the game started, and we're only in the bottom of the second. This could be a very, very long night for the Anchors if they don't start getting some of that momentum back.
Well, they're going to have to get out of this inning with 2 outs and away here. First pitch over the glove of the infield and out there for an RBI single. As Jamal Ritter will score to make it a 6-1 ball game. That's an RBI single for Brian O'Neill. Just looked at one pitch.
Now here's Mark Kirkland, the big first baseman. He's 1 for 1, and then he stole second base. And the nightmare continues for Adam Aboud right now, who just wants to get out of this inning.
Here's Mark Kirkland, who steps into the box here. First pitch, upstairs. So 4 runs in total here in the bottom of the second inning for the Power, as they have basically doubled their score from the bottom of the first. Off a flurry of different hits. That one's in there for a strike. Next delivery, 1-1 count to Mark Kirkland. Another guy who's got the ability to produce as well, as he got a single in the previous inning for an RBI himself. That was the second run of the game. They check over at first base with Brian O'Neill getting back in. And O'Neill continues to add to his RBI listing. As he is pretty much right there with Miles Walton in RBIs. That one's in there for a strike and a miss. Next pitch, 1-2 for Mark Kirkland. So just a reminder, this is game 1 of 2 against the Alameda Anchors, who are taking a bit of a night trip on this Tuesday evening. Tomorrow will be the Wednesday 6:30 p.m. start time as they check over with Brian O'Neill at first base again.
Something we talked about last week when we were on a call together was the ability to adapt to the visiting team, and so far we haven't seen that from Alameda. You know, once they get sort of a little bit of a rhythm going and the pitcher sees the whole lineup a couple times, then we'll probably see them start to settle in, or it could be one of those games where just the bats come alive and there's nothing that the pitchers can do.
It was a bit of an adjustment for the Inland Valley Legends, who ended up handing the Power their first loss of the season. The Power were up in that game, I should remind you, before they gave up a number of runs and ended up winning 7-5 last week on that Friday evening. It's a 2-2 count. Mark Kirkland just fouled off another pitch. Abud delivers. And no call as it was outside. Full count to Mark Kirkland.
Mark Kirkland, his patience at the plate is one of his better attributes and skills as a ball player, and he's making Abud work for everything.
Already has 8 walks this season. Next pitch upstairs. Fouled off down that third base line and way out of play. Ooh, hit the bounce house.
Hopefully the kid gets a souvenir and they can bring it to get it signed after.
Or free popsicle. Would you take the signature or the popsicle?
Maybe if they're nice enough, you can bring it after the concession stand ends and they could save one for you. Who knows?
Or they could sign the popsicle.
And then you eat an autograph.
It's a wasted product there. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Goes the other way. Stepping in and making the catch in right field is Rubio to end the inning, but the Power have scored 4 runs here in the bottom of the second. They're up 6-1 as we're off to the third.
Jessup Auto Plaza has been proudly serving the Coachella Valley since 1938 as your trusted family-owned auto destination. Now, electrify your drive with the Valley's most extensive range of electric vehicles. Drive the Chevrolet Blazer, Equinox, Silverado, the powerful GMC Hummer, Sierra, and the distinctive Cadillac Lyriq. Silent power, bold performance. Electrify your drive. Jessup Auto Plaza. Since 1938, the EV brands you love, the family you trust.
Hey, Coachella Valley, Patrick Summers here, General Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Spring is here and summer is right behind it. Don't get caught with a broken air conditioning system. Call us now. Let us get a tune-up done. We're offering a special for $79. It comes with a seasonal guarantee. Call our team today. Get yourself scheduled before the heat hits. Be proactive, not reactive. Go ahead and book at callthegeneral.com or call our offices and we'll get you taken care of.
Top of the third inning here on the Power Baseball YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM radio. Justin Lee and Charlie Gonzalez. 6-1 is the ball game. The Power just scored 4 runs back in the previous half inning, and they have dominated out the gates here in the first 2. Here's the first pitch from McNeely to Jafari Williams in his second at bat of the game, and it was outside for a ball. So here's where the anchors need to try to respond quickly and fast as he tips it into the glove of the catcher, Casey Kleiman, and makes it a 1-1 count here to Jafari Williams.
I think Jane McNeely doesn't want to play summer ball to keep his skills sharp. Oh.
Great diving grab by Cato Kleiman as he throws to first, and a great scoop from Mark Kirkland on the opposite way. How about a 5-3 long putout?
And this is what we talked about a couple minutes ago, wasn't it? Cato Kleiman, stepping in to play third base, a position he was never going to play this summer until Rylan Evans' departure. He scoops that up, stretches his glove out as far as he can, throws it across the infield to Kirkland for the out. Excellent job.
We've seen a lot of those plays, too, that have gone down that third base line, and it has gone by the glove of the third baseman multiple different times. But Cato Kleiman able to end that streak. First pitch is a ball here to Paul Wagner, and he's with a 1-0 count to start it off in his second at bat. Singled previously in the top of the first inning. And it's only been 2 hits for the anchor so far as he pops it up in the infield, and Rodriguez will settle under for the infield fly, and he'll make the catch. So 2 away already here in the top of the third inning.
Let's take a look at the pitch count for both because, McNeely, he obviously pitched first because the Power are at home, but that's only 38 pitches, whereas Adam Abud has worked his way up to 59 in just 2. So you see the difference in work that they have to do to get to the next inning, and that's what is separating the Power from the anchors right now.
Here's the first pitch here to John Klinkenbeard as that one's sent up in the air. And running over from left field and unable to glove it is Walton. And Ritter will back him up to make that catch. Probably will stay in there as a outfield single, but that was basically in prime no man's land out there.
And in some ways it's an error, not on the score sheet, but it was a mistake for Miles Walton to say, hey, I got this, when the shortstop, Michael Gonzalez, was so much closer. And, in fact, also Jamal Ritter was too. And so they're going to give that hit, but that's like an error for him to make that call.
Here's the first pitch to Titus Wheelock as he fouls it off over the heads of the grandstand here. And again, those types of plays, though, when you're in the outfield like that and the ball is probably in your prime zip code, because it was in the zip code of Ritter out there, usually the center fielder has the at odds on that play. And he didn't really go after it as the next pitch swung on and missed by Wheelock.
Yeah, we can't hear what the communication was out there, but I think it was Walton running from behind them and saying, hey, no, I got this. And the ball bounced right in front of his glove before he got there. It was a good effort, but it wasn't in his territory.
That one's in there for a strike three look. As Wheelock unhappy with that call, but it ends the inning. So they only give up another hit here in the top of the third inning, but no runs allowed. And able to get out of it once again is Jaden McNeely. We'll be back here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel in just a few.
For 20 years, our family's mission has been simple. It all starts at Stuffed, where exceptional service meets bold flavors. Every crust, a masterpiece. Cocktails crafted to perfection in an atmosphere that brings family and friends together. Stuffed pizza, dine in or takeout. Savor and enjoy at our 2 locations. Quality, service, family legacy, it all starts at Stuffed.
Whenever you find yourself hungry for something real, simple, and true, we're here for you.
That's what a hamburger's all about.
Monster Shakes, the best ice cream creations in the desert and only place in the world that serves all 10 flavors of Dole Soft Serve. The winner of the best soft serve and smoothies, home to the world's best date shake and other fun creations like ice cream nachos and the cotton candy burrito. For a limited time, come in and try your luck. Any soft serve that weighs exactly 16 ounces is free. Monster Shakes in Palm Springs and Cathedral City facing the Mary Pickford. Franchise opportunities available too. Monster Shakes, a delicious mess.
Back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM radio on Palm Springs Power YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez at my side. Power still up 6-1 as we're through 2.5. And there's a new pitcher already for the Anchors after Adam Aboud gave up 6 runs, 59 total pitches, and he gets replaced by number 33 Caleb Garrison from Concord, California.
And KJ Moon, the lone power player to not bat in the bottom second inning. So getting back in on the action now.
See if he can lead off with a hit here on the first pitch. It's upstairs. 1-0 count to KJ Moon. Behind him would be Casey Kleiman, and then Cato Kleiman will be the guy in the hole who made a nice play at the third base side in the previous half inning. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Foul. Towards a powered bullpen there.
And the final line for Adam Aboud for the Alameda Anchors. 2 innings pitched, 59 pitches, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, 5 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned. And so not his best start. And now Garrison's going to look to play damage control as they trail by 5.
Next delivery, KJ Moon fouls it off. Again, this is a guy who's a 2-sport athlete, a lot of talent at that 6'1", 210 stature. Both serves as a utility and also a pitcher throughout his time in high school and at Mercer University, as that pitch is out inside for 2-2 count. So he'll try to see if he can try to lead off again and add some more runs and put this game almost out of reach. And we're still just in the third inning, but he tips it into the glove of the catcher on the next pitch in Desmond, and that's a strike 3 call.
Here's Casey Kleiman, had a leadoff walk in the second and scored a run on the throwing error by first baseman Titus Wheelock.
Casey will step in. He led off the second inning with a walk and then ended up scoring later on in that half inning. He will take the first pitch inside, 1-0 count.
And Casey Kleiman, Atlantic 10 champion with the Virginia Commonwealth Rams, and started in all 56 games in 2024 season that he played in.
Next delivery. Takes a little floater. Somehow missed it as Klinkenbeard at the third base side and is into the outfield for what it looks like to be a single off the initial.
I don't know. That looked like a pretty routine play. He just didn't. He expected the ball to bounce, and he just looked at his glove, and there was nothing in it. I think that's an error. It was not fast off the bat. He definitely could have scooped that up. I think that's E5.
So Casey Kleiman will get on board with just one away here. His brother Cato steps in, 1-0 count to start off. And that was a weird looking hit by Casey Kleiman, but you can get whatever you can get on hits like that. It popped up in the air from Cato. Turning around is Klinkenbeard. He's called off by the shortstop. Make the over-the-head catch and Cord. That will be 2 away.
And Klinkenbeard, he had a shot at redemption there, and he was looking to catch it, but the angle was awkward, and it looked like Cord had a better read on the ball from the moment it left the bat. He didn't have to kind of turn his head, so he made it.
And then here's Isaac Rodriguez. First pitch in there for a strike as he watches it. He also was able to essentially score on what was like kind of an error, as that one's popped up in the air for Williams in the center field spot. He'll make the easy catch for the final out. So just a single here in the bottom of the third inning. We're through 3. Power still 6-1. We'll be back in just a few.
Everyone knows good things come in threes, like Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, and Play combo for just $19.99, including one mouth-watering entree, a refreshing beverage, a $10 power card, and a whole lot of fun, which means you enjoy a delicious meal for under $10. Oh, look, that's 5 good things. Good things come in threes at Dave & Buster's with the Eat, Drink, and Play combo for just $19.99. Buy online or in-store today.
Hello, Power Baseball fans. At SBMP Attorneys, we believe in the power of community. And that's why we proudly support the Palm Springs Power, our hometown baseball team. After a memorable championship season in 2024, capping off the team's 20th anniversary, we're all very excited about the 2025 Power team. SBMP Attorneys and the Palm Springs Power are 2 teams that are committed to excellence, community, and the spirit of winning. We'll see you all at the ballpark.
Back here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM. Justin Lee and Charlie Gonzalez here tonight. Another inning for Jaden McNeely, who is stretching out this start so far through 3 He'll face off against Hellickson, Guy Polizzotti, and Emmett Desmond. He's been able to hold them to just a single run so far and 3 hits in total.
In that one run was unearned because of 2 occurrences that happened with the leadoff batter. I'll get them in just a second as there's strike 1. So first, he gets the swinging K, but because the catcher let it get away from him, Jafari Williams gets on base. Then he comes home on a throwing error by Isaac Rodriguez. So it was really a double unearned run, if you can call it that.
Once fouled off to the right side, 0-2 count for Hellickson. Struck out swinging his first at bat. Not a whole lot after that. 20 years old, 6 foot, 195 pounds from Santa Barbara City College. 0-2 delivery. Tries to go for the outside corner, doesn't get the call. 1-2 count for Hellickson. That one is fouled off behind the home plate side. Still keeps it a 1-2 count.
You had people like laughing at the Finding Nemo sound effect of the seagulls.
Mine.
You know what's funny? I didn't watch Finding Nemo until after I heard that sound effect in a meme.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Wow.
Finding Nemo was one of those Pixar movies I just had no interest in watching for a longest time.
That is one of the greatest Pixar movies of all time.
Now that I've seen it, I agree. But for me, Pixar, it was just the Cars and Ratatouille and Up. That was all I cared about as a kid.
Oh, I see. You know what? That's fair, though. Those movies are still pretty good. 2-2 pitch. Popped up in the air for the left field side. And running over and calling it will be Gonzalez to make the catch. So 1 away already here in the top of the 4th. And here's Guy Polizzotti. There's a lot of weird names on this roster. Klinkenbeard, Wheelock, Hellickson, Polizzotti.
Polizzotti sounds Italian.
I think it is Italian.
I can rock with that.
First pitch, missed it outside. If you ask Charlie Gonzalez to do his best Italian impression, you can ask him later, not on the broadcast.
Yeah, not on the broadcast. And some people have said I actually sound Russian when I try to sound Italian, and I sound Italian when I try to sound Russian. So I got to work on my dialect a bit.
You got to like flip-flop it somehow. It's a 2-0 count here to Polizzotti, facing off against McNeely. Here's the next delivery with 1 away. That got the outside corner. It's a 2-1 count to Polizzotti.
Polizzotti and went to College of Marin and Marin Catholic High School. And in high school, he started out only playing 9 games his junior year. Then in his senior year, he played 22.
Ball was in place, scooped up by Cato Kleiman, able to make the put out to Kirkland at first base, 2 away. So on the verge here of making the first 1-2-3 inning tonight. The Anchors have managed to get at least one hit in all 3 innings so far. And here's Emmett Desmond, who will step in. Struck out swinging last time. First pitch in their first strike. Watched. So my question is, now that you've watched Nemo, like, who's your favorite character from that movie?
Oh, man. Dory, because Ellen DeGeneres is just awesome.
Very good roll. That's in their first strike on the next delivery on the 1-0-1 count. And now it's an 0-2 count as McNeely will look to try to finish it off. He's taken down 2 different batters to end the inning. And here's the delivery. Upstairs. Missed it just by a smidget. So it'll be a 1-2 count to Emmett Desmond. I'm trying to think of my favorite character. What was the turtle? The turtle from that movie. Next pitch popped up, and it's going to look like that is trailing foul as Kirkland loses it in the lights.
I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of the turtle from Finding Nemo. I apologize. Maybe I should rewatch it tomorrow.
I thought you weren't going to do it on the broadcast. Well, there you go, folks. You get your tidbit from Charlie Gonzalez tonight. I'm trying to remember who the turtle was from the movie, and I'm totally losing my train of thought here. That one is also sent flying down the right field side, and running is KJ Moon. In the bullpen side, he takes a slip before the fence there. Probably a good decision, as that one was at least 3 inches off that gate down that first base line. So he just settles with the foul ball.
What threw him off there was the imbalance, because that was going to the visitors' bullpen mound, and had he dove for it, he probably would have fallen on his chest, maybe scraped his face in the dirt. So instead, he just opted to slide like a base runner and not go for the wall. Had that been even ground, he could have gone for it.
Still remains a 1-2 count. Back-to-back foul balls here to Emmett Desmond. That pitch is in the dirt. Still survives now with a 2-2 count. Turtle from that movie is my favorite character. I'm blanking on the name, but righteous. Here's a 2-2 delivery. Watched on the cutter. Gets it in there for the strike 3 looking.
And McNeely retires the side in order for the first time tonight. He was close in the third, but that botched catch attempt in left field robbed him of it, but he gets it now.
We're through 3.5. Jaden McNeely has 6 strikeouts against the Anchors tonight. We'll be back here on the Power YouTube channel in just a few.
There's something winning in the agua. Catch all the action at 360 Sports at Agua Caliente Casinos. Watch your favorite teams on our giant wraparound screens. See live scores on the LED sports ticker. Win big with our bar top games and enjoy great twists on bar food favorites. And with 3 premier casino locations, 360 Sports is the ultimate fan experience. For more information, visit aguacalientecasinos.com.
Across the Coachella Valley, you'll find our communities powered by short-term rentals. These rentals bring visitors and dollars to the region. Whether attending events, checking out the art scene, or dining at restaurants, when they spend money, we all score. The nearly $1 billion impact of short-term vacation rentals generates tax revenues that fund police, firefighters, education, and many other programs that improve our daily lives. To learn why short-term rentals are a grand slam for the home team, visit onecv.org.
Shopping for car insurance is confusing. Holy cow.
Great. Now we have a cow in our kitchen. Why did you say that?
Because I don't know what coverage to choose.
So just say the State Farm jingle. A State Farm agent can go over all your options with you and help choose coverage that meets your needs. Dude, cow, could you move?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs and the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez. Power still up 6-1 as we're off to the bottom of the 4th inning here, as Garrison will face off the meat of the order with the leadoff man Michael Gonzalez back in, who's already had back-to-back walks. He's got Jamal Ritter in the on-deck circle and Miles Walton in the hole. First pitch was in there for a strike, looking to Michael Gonzalez.
Gonzalez gotten 2 freebies so far tonight, advanced all the way third, tried to come home, but it was a 3-2 pickoff in the first, then came around to score on a sacrifice ground out by Miles Walton.
Bit of an early swing on the next get-up. He's behind 0-2 on the count now. So I looked it up in the half inning. Guy's name was Crush. That's who it was that I was thinking of. That's my favorite character from that show, or movie. 0-2 pitch here to Michael Gonzalez. Watches it go outside. 1-2. So Gonzalez trying to continue a streak of walks here, or at least get on base since he's in the leadoff spot once again. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Power managed to score 6 on 6 hits. That one's upstairs, and now he's evened up the count.
Michael Gonzalez was a pretty solid pitcher in high school. He had a 2.36 ERA his senior year and a 1.45 ERA his junior year. Just didn't sit right with him. He wanted to try a different position primarily in college.
Goes after the next pitch as he fouls it off. Still remains a 2-2 count. Send it over the grandstands here on the first base side. So we talked about what's happening tomorrow with Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce hosting the Summer Social tomorrow. And then we've also got Palm Springs City Night on June 13th this weekend when they face off against the Inland Valley Buccaneers. It's free admission for all Palm Springs residents, plus a hot dog combo with a drink, koozie, and much, much more. That one is way over the head of Michael Gonzalez on that 2-2 pitch. He had to bring the bat down to avoid a foul ball.
What's strange about that was the only reason I think it wasn't an HBP is the catcher stuck his glove out and it bounced off the catcher's glove instead of his back. But he bent down for a little while, but like a couple seconds, before coming up. Not sure why that was. Just wanted to make sure.
The 3-2 pitch here. Grounds it. Picked up by Wagner as he throws the first. That's the first retired at bat for Michael Gonzalez. So he worked it up to a full count, and Jamal Ritter will step in, who's had 2 singles tonight, 2 runs, and an RBI. He's having himself a pretty good evening.
Making an early case for himself as player of the game, but we still got 5 more innings to go after this.
He has shown his case as player of the game many, many times this season already, and we've only gone about 10 games of the way. He sends it down the first base line, gloved by Wheelock. He will step on it himself for the second out.
Something we haven't seen much of tonight so far from the Anchor defense is clean infield putouts, because we saw 2 just there, and there haven't been 2 in 1 inning thus far today.
The only one that happened was back in the bottom second with a 6-3 put away to the man who's up to bat now, and Miles Walton, who's also got himself a single, by the way. He shows bunt and he sends it down the third base line out of play. So with 2 gone and away here, Miles Walton has decided to use his speed and try to get on base.
I've only ever seen someone strike out on a bunt going foul once in my life. It's something that, only the most confident can make sure, even if there's 2 strikes, that they can get it in fair territory. I've only ever seen it once.
Goes after the next one. Instead of bunting, grounds it down, running over his cord. He throws a first. 1-2-3 put away. So, Power go down in a 1-2-3 inning. First one of its kind here tonight, but they're still up by 6. Back here on Fox Sports 1270 and Power YouTube.
The Management Trust is a 100% employee-owned company. Every employee has a vested interest in providing memorable experiences to every homeowner and board members of HOAs. It's a very powerful thing. No homeowners association is too small or too large for us to manage. From community maintenance services to customized absentee home care, the Management Trust provides just about every service any homeowner could ask for.
Hi, I'm Damien with the Management Trust. We're community management built differently for your homeowners association. To find out how, give me a call.
Outdoor living in the Coachella Valley is spectacular, and Tessera is the premier builder of outdoor living spaces in the desert. Nobody does it better than Tessera. From one end of this valley to the other, from Palm Springs to Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, to Indio and La Quinta. For 35 years, we've created the ultimate in outdoor living, landscaping, pools, and patios, so you and your family can enjoy each other. Live well. Live Tessera.
Quality first. It's quite a philosophy to live by. But world-class ingredients are the foundation of great meals. And we wouldn't have it any other way. At Kaiser Grill in downtown Palm Springs, we believe you deserve the best. So whether it's dinner for 2 or a celebration with 200 friends, quality is our promise to you. Because quality is king. Quality is Kaiser.
So back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM Radio Palm Springs and Palm Springs Power YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez. Jaden McNeely's night is over after pitching through 4 innings. Had himself a really good one in his first start as a power pitcher, and now Andrew Baltazar, number 33, will step in. We've seen him twice this season. He's already got a save this year, 3 innings pitched in total, and 2 strikeouts to add to his name. So he'll face off against E.J. Cord, Elias Rubio, and Jafar Williams. Here's the first delivery, swing and a miss.
So here's the final line for Jaden McNeely. 4 innings pitched, 58 pitches, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 3 hits, 1 run, and it was unearned. So it's a pretty solid night.
Didn't need to go the whole length. That next pitch outside for a 1-1 count for Andrew Baltazar. senior from Baldwin Park, California. Went to Rio Hondo. Now is at New Mexico Highlands. Just a single appearance with the Highlands. 1 1/3 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts and 4 earned runs. Massive Angels fan as well. It's a 2-1 count here to E.J. Cord, the former PSEL Green Dragon. That pitch is way inside, but bounced out of the glove of Casey Kleiman. I thought it was going to be a hit by pitch for a second, but just bounced out of the glove of the catcher behind the plate. And it's a 3-1 count here to E.J. Cord.
Yeah, I thought it bounced off the inner part of his glove without him swinging, so I was expecting that to be a 2-2 count because I heard it sound like a ball bouncing off wood.
That time it got him on the inside pitch on the next one, so even if it was a 3-1 count, it would have been a walk, but it ends up as a hit by pitch. That's the first of its kind tonight against the Anchors, and E.J. Cord will be on first. It's the second time tonight he's got on first base after hitting a single to right in the top of the second inning.
Yeah, and he was stranded at first because that was a 2-out single, and Elias Rubio flew out to left field to end the second inning, and so now he'll look to advance into scoring position for the first time tonight.
Baltazar pitched against the Inland Valley Legends on that Friday, 7 p.m., and did not give up a run, 1 strikeout.
Shows a bunt here, goes down the line. Cato Kleiman quickly scooping it up and throwing it over to Mark Kirkland to retire him. And that advances E.J. Cord to second. So the sacrifice bunt works, and now E.J. Cord is in the scoring position for the first time.
So 1 gone and away, and now, like you said, E.J. Cord's at second base, sack bunt. So they're trying to at least try to get back on the board here. They haven't scored since the first inning, and not a hit since the third.
Hello.
So here, back in the top of the lineup is Jafari Williams. Here's the first pitch. That one's in there for a strike on the outside edge. So it's a little bit of action in that power bullpen as well, even though we just put in Baltazar in this half inning here. Here's the next delivery. Fouls it off to the back net. Already behind in the count, 0-2.
Baltazar, yeah, as you mentioned, not much playing time with New Mexico Highlands, but did a lot of playing at Rio Hondo College. And, in fact, played 2 seasons and had a combined 6.75 ERA.
Got him swinging the outside pitch, dropped her 3. They have to throw it to first. They got him there. So that's the first strikeout of the evening for Andrew Baltazar as he retires second hitter here in this inning. E.J. Cord still stands at second base. Got him with a nice little slider on the outside edge of the strike zone. And Jafari Williams had nothing but air on that swing. Here is Paul Wagner, who steps in. Already has a single, flew out into the infield just momentarily back in the third inning. First pitch, down and low for a 1-0 count.
The Alameda Anchors took a bus down here from Alameda, and it was about, the coach said, 8 hours, give or take, because they're not always going the normal speed that other cars go, and they had to take a few stops as usual. So it was a nice, fun road trip from the bay down to the inland desert.
Here's the next delivery. That one's also low to the ground on 2-0. Is the count here to Paul Wagner. We talked about him just a little bit from Malone College. 39 games, 29 hits, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. Next delivery. That one also misses low. So Baltazar is really going for that lower part of the strike zone. 3 pitches in a row, he hasn't been able to get his mark.
He's trying to make Paul Wagner bite with the cutter, and it hasn't been working. We'll see what he does here with a 3-ball, no-strike count.
See if he tries to deliver one upstairs. He goes, but it's inside. So 4 pitches in a row, that's a walk.
Yeah, 4-pitch walk, and it's 2 outs, now 2 runners on. You know what I think? We were confused by what that umpire was signaling. I think he's just pointing for the runner to go. But the problem is the runner doesn't see that because he's behind him. Mm-hmm. And so it makes it confusing for some people because most umpires don't do that.
Most umpires, usually that signal's just for a guy who's been hit by a pitch.
Yeah.
So here's John Klinkenbeard, who hit a single back in the third. He's got 2 runners at first and second, with Wagner at first and E.J. Cord at second. who led off with a hit by pitch. Here's the first delivery. That one's in there for a strike on the inside edge. That was a good-looking pitch.
John Klinkenbeer, just like E.J. Cord earlier in this inning, got on base with a single in his earlier at bat, and now wants to get into scoring position for the first time. But first he has to get on base. And here's another thing to read about this infield. You see Mike Gonzalez; he's right in between second base and third base. He's trying not to let anything get past him. He's playing aggressively. He was closer to second base at this point in the last inning.
So 2 pitches in a row. It's a 2-1 count here to John Klinkenbeard. He missed upstairs and inside. And like you said, Gonzalez is really touching that third base line, or close to it at least. And also Cato Kleiman is really hugging that third base line. I guess they're expecting the pull here. Here's a 2-1 delivery. That one is low to the ground on the outside corner. 3-1 count.
And now we're 1 ball away from having loaded bases for the first time here tonight, and that's saying something because the Power have had multiple people on base in the first and second inning, but never were there loaded bases.
Titus Wheelock, the cleanup hitters in the on-deck circle. Here's the next delivery, 3-1 count. That one is a walk. He missed him inside. So 2 back-to-back walks, and now the bases are all juiced up for the Anchors.
Here's Titus Wheelock, 0 for 2, and we mentioned him. You were talking about how big he is. He's a power hitter, and he still run faster. We saw that on the fly out to right field just to make sure that it wasn't going to get caught. We'll see what he does here.
Here's the first delivery to Wheelock. Tries an off-speed pitch, upstairs misses for a 1-0 count. This is a pitcher who has a bit of a big arsenal. Fastball near 85 miles per hour. Exhibits a cutter, slider, and a changeup. See if he try to throw off the batters here with Wheelock up to bat with 2 away. Here's the next delivery. That one's inside. As Casey Kleiman bounces up, tries to keep the runner at third base. Everyone stays where they are. It's a 2-0 count to Titus Wheelock.
And Baltazar, you're talking about like how many different pitches he has in his arsenal, but he's struggling to find control so far. The cutter, he's putting it in the right spot, but the batters weren't biting, and the fastball is just hitting outside the zone every time, like we just saw there again. It's ball 3.
Ball 3 on that pitch, 3-0. Trying to avoid giving up a run here. This will be the first of its kind since the first inning for the Anchors. 6-1 is the ball game here. You're listening on Fox Sports 1270 AM radio and Palm Springs Power YouTube channel. Here's a 3-0 delivery. Got him looking with this strike right down the middle. You knew that one was coming on a 3-0 count. Just trying to challenge Wheelock here as he's trying to bounce back in the count. Parker Hellickson is awaiting on deck. Comes back with it on a 3-1. Missed. Swing and a miss. Tipped it into the glove of Casey Kleiman. It's a full count to Titus Wheelock. Now Baltazar will try to get out of this bases loaded jam. 2 gone and away. 3-2 jam. Here's a delivery. Missed it low. That will bring in a run. So E.J. Core will come in to score. It's a 6-2 ball game. And that is 3 walks in a row handed out by Baltazar to 3 different batters. Base is still loaded.
Things are getting a little tricky here because in the first 3 innings, there was a total, or maximum of 2 batters that came to the plate after out number 2 was recorded, and now we're going to the 4th. And so things are getting a little challenging here, especially for the infield, for the Power, as the tying run is at the plate.
So the tying run would be Parker Hellickson, the designated hitter from Roseville, California. Right behind it would be Guy Polizzotti. This is the chunk for lineup order for the Anchors here. Bases loaded. Here's the first pitch, sent it the opposite way. Kirkland will glove it. He will run to first to take it himself and in the inning, getting out of a bases loaded jam and limiting the damage to just a single run. Power still up 6-2 as we're off to the bottom of the 5th inning. Back here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel, Fox Sports 1270 AM radio.
Try our big, beautiful all-day menu with more than 70 delicious dishes and our award-winning 3-course brunch for only $27.99. At Palm Springs' most popular restaurant, there's always a party at Lulu.
Whether you're building...
Back here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM radio, my name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez. The Power still up 6-2 after the Anchors were able to drive in another run with Andrew Baltazar in relief of Jaden McNeely. And it's still Garrison up on the bump here, trying to keep the Power at 6 runs, but he'll face off against the big part of the lineup, which is the Power guys, Bryant O'Neill, Mark Kirkland, KJ Moon. That first pitch is missing inside for a ball 1.
Garrison got a little bit of help in the top of the 5th inning, and it looked promising with a tying run coming to the plate when they were down by 4, and now he has to do even more damage control, but he's starting off to a good start.
Swing and a miss on an inside pitch. It's a 1-1 count to Brian O'Neill.
That last second curveball, about 76 miles per hour, and it curved in on the inside the last time at the last second. Brian O'Neill thought that was going to be on the outside.
And this time it was on the next pitch on a 1-1 count. Makes it 2-1 here to Brian O'Neill, who's had himself a really good stretch so far. A lot of extra base hits. How about 4 extra base hits in 2 games against the Inland Valley Buccaneers? Here's the 2-1 pitch. Got it with the tip of the bat as he fouls it off over the grandstand. And he'll be behind it at 2-2 count, evened up.
You know what I like about the TrackMan system we have here that tracks pitch, like spin type and all that? It's so accurate, it even does like a decimal as to what the speed of the ball is. And I like that. I love that about the program.
2-2 delivery. That one's watched for a strike 3. That looked like it was a little bit outside, but the umpire gave him the call. And so Brian O'Neill goes down on a strikeout looking on a 2-2 pitch. So Mark Kirkland will come up to bat. He will try to get up on board here, and Power unable to get another hit since the 3rd inning. In the 4th, they were taken down on a 1-2-3 here with the relief pitcher and Caleb Garrison, who has taken over for Adam Aboud, who is a starting pitcher. First pitch in there is missed low for a ball, 1-0 count to Mark Kirkland.
Yeah, Mark Kirkland last played college baseball in 2022 at the University of Redlands and was an ABVA All-West Region first team and a D3 All-West Region second team.
Grounds it to the second baseman, Wagner. He scoops it up, throws the first for the second out. So 2 away in the bottom of the 5th already.
And these are the 1-2-3 innings that the Anchors needed early on. They weren't getting them. Aboud was pulled, and Garrison comes in. He only faces 4 batters in the 3rd. He has a 1-2-3 in the 4th, and now he's 1 out away from doing a 1-2-3 here in the 5th.
Yeah, so far, not a lot of strikeouts, only 2 strikeouts for Caleb Garrison, but he's forced a lot of pop flies and a handful of ground balls already so far in this relief effort. Here's the first pitch here to KJ Moon as it's in there for a strike. Now you talk about the TrackMan system and how resourceful that is. It also tracks the ability to see the horizontal break and the vertical break of the pitches as well, so we can kind of see and imagine what those pitches look like as they're flying in. Here's the next delivery. It's outside. It's a 1-1 count here to KJ Moon. He's already struck out 2 different times, so he's trying to avoid a 3rd time here with a 1-1 count. Here's the next delivery. Sent it a line drive towards the center fielder. Williams will not make the catch as it's way over his head. It goes over to the wall on that track side. KJ Moon round second. He will try to trek for 3rd. That throw from the outfield is offline and into the bullpen as Klinkenbeer will stop in, and KJ Moon will get a triple here in the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 gone and away.
And KJ Moon was struck out swinging his first 2 at-bats, and there he gets a triple. And that looked, from our vantage point, like it was going to be caught F8, no doubt. But the issue was Williams waited a little too long to jump, and it went over his head. The ball goes all the way to the warning track. The throw-in was in time, but it was way off target, and that forced Klinkenbeard off the bag. And so we have a 2-out triple and another run 90 feet away from scoring.
So KJ Moon stands at 3rd now. Here's Casey Kleinman. Singled in his last at-bat. He's 1 for 1, also with a walk. First pitch upstairs, misses inside. So KJ Moon has been able to knock out of the 1-2-3 inning slump for the Power. Got a triple over the head of Jafari Williams out in center field side. Misjudged it just by a step, it seemed like. Missed it by, I want to say, a glove's length out in center field. And that ended up in KJ Moon being able to reach to third base. So 2-0 count here after the last pitch to Casey Kleiman. 2 gone and away. Next delivery, and that one's in there on the outside corner for a strike. 2-1 count to Casey Kleiman.
And that triple by KJ Moon that Garrison gave up. You know, the pitch, it was a great pitch selection based on what he threw against Kirkland and O'Neill before him, but KJ Moon just read it perfectly.
Casey Kleiman whiffed at a pitch, was early on the swing, missed it. 2-2 is the count here. That was also KJ Moon's second triple of his young Power career. And Casey Kleiman also has 2 for himself as well to go along with it as he watches the next pitch way in the dirt from Garrison. And it is a full count here to Casey Kleiman. His brother Cato awaits on deck. 2 gone and away here in the bottom 5th. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Missed it. Oh, he called him on the outside low.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
no. So Casey Kleiman goes down on a strikeout that was basically touching dirt on the outside corner. He does not look happy about that call.
And Casey Kleiman, he's still standing in the batter's box. Like, are you serious? Like, it was way outside and anyone could see it. But it looks like he's going to be retired, and that'll be the end of the inning as we're going to have the little race around the bases mini game. We'll be right back here on Palm Springs Power YouTube and Fox Sports 1270 AM radio.
Family setting, you know, we come and we get into conversation, and it's comfortable here is what I guess I'll say. It's comfortable.
The hot cocoa has whipped cream and sprinkles in the whipped cream in the hot cocoa.
Very family oriented. You know, they cater to the kids. They got the coloring books and crayons, and they have kid-sized stuff about almost for everything that you would want. So young and old, everybody can enjoy it.
It's the best.
Made from scratch memories. Elmer's.
Building your business is no small undertaking, and you need the right team by your side. Whether you're just getting started or expanding nationwide, Pacific Premier Bank is here to support your business every step of the way. As your trusted banking partner, we can help guide you down the right path with customized solutions designed for your business. We'll help you achieve the success you deserve. Pacific Premier Bank. Let's build your future together.
Try our big, beautiful all-day menu with more than 70 delicious dishes and our award-winning 3-course brunch for only $27.99. At Palm Springs' most popular restaurant, there's always a party at Lulu.
Back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM Radio Palm Springs and the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez. We've seen pretty eventful beginning to this game, but it started to quiet down a little bit. The only run that's been scored since the bottom second inning is the Anchors with getting 1 after Baltazar took a relief effort, and he walked 3 guys in a row, allowed 1 run to get by, and he's back up there on the mound. He was able to get out of the inning with a bases loaded situation before Kirkland saved it with a put away of his own. And Baltazar will face off against Polizzotti, Desmond, and E.J. Cord.
Yeah, they're going to be talking about that looking K for a while because that definitely was ball 4. And now the bright side is though they're up by 4 and they have controlled this game, so not to let that ruin their night. But if this was a later inning occurrence, and then Casey Dill probably would have. Spoken to the umpire and had a few words with them, but it was the bottom of the 5th. They're up by 4. Just let it slide, lick your wounds, and just rebound.
And I'm sure if that were to happen later on in the game, if the Anchors somehow are able to climb their way back, then I'm sure there would be a reference to that call later on. But anyways, here's Polizzotti. First pitch, got him on the left shoulder. So to start off, leadoff hitter gets hit by a pitch. And there's already a guy on first base. That's a second hit by pitch thrown by Baltazar. And he led off with the first guy in the top of the 5th inning with a hit by pitch, and he ended up scoring later on in the game.
Emmett Desmond has struck out both his at-bats. It was swinging in the 2nd, looking in the 4th to end it.
Baltazar has had some pretty good control throughout his young power career. Not a whole lot of hit by pitches. Already has 2. Here's a bunt squared, fouled off behind the plate for Emmett Desmond. And Emmett Desmond, 228 batting average in his young career at Hartnell College. 198 pounds, 18 years old. Here's the next delivery. That one's in there for a strike on the inside corner. So it's an 0-2 count to Desmond.
Pitcher's count is something that has eluded Baltazar. Most of the batters he's faced. We'll see what he delivers here.
0-2 pitch, got him looking.
And there's his first looking K of the night and his second strikeout overall.
That's a 3rd K for Emmett Desmond tonight. He hasn't had a whole lot of success in that batter's box. And here comes E.J. Cord. Last time up to bat, hit by a pitch. So 1 away in the top of the 6th inning. Power still up 6-2. Trying to hold off the anchors here in this first game of 2. That pitch is in there, ball 1 on the first delivery to E.J. Cord.
At Berkeley High School, he started 3 years on the varsity team. He was a team captain, a 3-time league champion in 3 years in a row. So very productive. But right now at Jessup University, he's studying psychology. He wants to work in sports psychology. And he likes going to the beach and playing video games. Who doesn't? Those are 2 things everyone enjoys, right?
That's what I do when I'm in Orange County. Next pitch outside, 2-0.
Although I'm not very fond of the sand. I do like the beach itself, just not walking on the sand. So I go to Santa Monica Pier and enjoy the ocean.
Much more of a hardwood floor.
Yes.
2-0 pitch. Missed low. So you were talking, sorry.
No, I got my piece in.
Good to hear. 3-0's a count here to E.J. Cord. As Baltazar is trying to work back up and avoid giving up another walk here. Checks over at first base, but his throw is a little bit high for Mark Kirkland at the first base side. Trying to catch Paul Azadi, who's at first base, after he led off and took a ball right to his left shoulder on the first pitch. Elias Rubio is awaiting on deck. Here's the next delivery. Popped up in the air over the press box.
3-1 count, and that was the closest a pitch has gone to us tonight, but nothing like when we were in the public address announcer booth last week.
There was a ball hit up, basically got 1 inch above the press box and took one piece off. I had to jump in front of Charlie for that. That pitch was next one and was way upstairs in front of the face mask of E.J. Cord, and he will walk on a 3-1 count.
Well, I don't think you jumped in front of me. I think I jumped behind you. And later you said that I used the smallest item in the press box as a shield. Do you remember that? You remember
yeah,
I
do. Yes. Yes, that was true. So 2 men on base here. But Paul Azadi's at second now after the walk by E.J. Cord, who's at first. And here's Elias Rubio, who is yet to get on base yet. He's already flown out. Sac fly previously. And now he's got a 1-0 count here after the first delivery from Baltazar.
And he has a sacrifice bunt, and that is what kind of contributed to that run scoring in the top of the 5th for the Anchors.
Swing and a miss. He was going for the fences on that pitch. That was on the outside corner, 1-1 count. So here's the 1-1 delivery coming up to Elias Rubio with 2 men on base and 1 away. Next delivery upstairs. 2-1 is the count now. Power looks like they're going to try to switch things up soon with the lefty pitcher in the bullpen. Looks like that's Lucas Zach there in the bullpen. Swing and a miss. Got him. Strike 3. Or rather 2-2. My goodness. Missed that one. That was a big miss. 2-2 is the count. My apologies. Not a strikeout.
He was walking away, though, like he struck out.
So I wasn't entirely wrong.
Yeah, you weren't entirely
like
wrong. Maybe he just lost track of the count.
It looks like they're going to have a pinch hitter for the Anchors as well. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Got him looking on the outside corner. Now he's struck out. 2 away. Second strikeout for Andrew Baltazar. So it looks like we got the new guy in here.
That's number 19, Logan Kim.
He will take place for Jafari Williams, who struck out twice and grounded out 1 time. Let's try to see if they could try to switch things up here in the top of the 6th inning.
We'll see if it's a straight switch because Jafari Williams plays center field and he had that mistake in the last inning, so maybe that was part of the decision as to why there's a pinch hitter now and then maybe a straight switch when we go to the bottom.
First pitch got the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 is the count early to Logan Kim from Pierce College and Sacramento City College from San Ramon, California. Sends it. The bat flew to the net and scooped up. Ground ball. Cato Kleiman over to first to end the inning. So they leave 2 stranded on base after the pinch hit by Logan Kim. And Power still up 6-2 as we're off to the bottom of the 6th here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel, Fox Sports 1270 AM radio. We'll be back.
Outdoor living in the Coachella Valley is spectacular, and Tessera is the premier builder of outdoor living spaces in the desert. Nobody does it better than Tessera. From one end of this valley to the other, from Palm Springs to Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, to Indio and La Quinta. For 35 years, we've created the ultimate in outdoor living, landscaping, pools, and patios, so you and your family can enjoy each other. Live well. Live Tessera.
Hello, Power Baseball fans. At SBMP Attorneys, we believe in the power of community. And that's why we proudly support the Palm Springs Power, our hometown baseball team. After a memorable championship season in 2024, capping off the team's 20th anniversary, we're all very excited about the 2025 Power team. SBMP Attorneys and the Palm Springs Power are 2 teams that are committed to excellence, community, and the spirit of winning. We'll see you all at the ballpark.
Monster Shakes, the best ice cream creations in the desert and only place in the world that serves all 10 flavors of Dole Soft Serve. The winner of the best soft serve and smoothies, home to the world's best date shake and other fun creations like ice cream nachos and the cotton candy burrito. For a limited time, come in and try your luck. Any soft serve that weighs exactly 16 ounces.
Back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM radio and Palm Springs Power YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez. 6-2 ball game still as we're through 5 1/2 here. Power still up on top by 6, and leading off would be Cato Kleiman again against Caleb Garrison. Still up on the mound in this relief effort for the Alameda Anchors here in game 1 of 2. Right behind him is Cato Kleiman in the on-deck circle as that first pitch is missed for ball 1.
And just an update, it is a straight switch, so Logan Kim didn't just pinch hit for Jafari Williams. He's now playing center field for Alameda.
So he's in center field now, taking the place as he gets a good one. Cato Kleiman over the right field side on a one-hopper to Rubio on right field. So it took 2 pitches. Leadoff single here for Cato Kleiman. My apologies, it wasn't Casey. Casey was the one who struck out looking to end the bottom of the 5th inning. So here, it's a leadoff single for Cato Kleiman. It's hard to kind of
just
put the two. They're twins.
One of our colleagues made a joke, and I forget who it was, but they said Cato is number 7, Casey is 14, so Cato's like in a way half of Casey. I don't know, but that couldn't be further from the truth though, based on their stats and production.
They're the same height, so I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah.
First pitch was fouled out by Isaac Rodriguez here. Here's the next delivery upstairs. Missed 1-1 count. See, as Logan Kim is out there in the center field side. And right now, Cato climbing at first. 1-1 count here to Isaac Rodriguez. Here's the next pitch. Gets away from the catcher, and Desmond, he didn't know where it was for a second, as Cato will easily take second.
He advances on a wild pitch, and the catcher, he had the right idea to try to put his glove out there to stop the ball from going anywhere. The problem was it hit the turf before it hit his glove, and then that's when it bounced over his head, allowing Cato Kleiman to advance.
So this would be the first time tonight that the Power have put a base runner on a leadoff hit. They've led off multiple different times with walks and then a couple strikeouts, grounders, and this is the first time that Cato's got on base with a single, as that one is in there for a strike. So 2-2 is the count here to Isaac Rodriguez. And right behind him would be Michael Gonzalez. Here's the next delivery. Bit of a slow hit there as he lost control of the bat, but he fouls it off regardless to keep it a 2-2 count.
Rodriguez, when he was participating in the perfect game event, he had a 1.60 second 10-yard split, and his 60-yard dash was 7.24 seconds.
Here's the 2-2 delivery. Watched it. Very close to that strike zone on the top side, but it misses for a 3-2 count. This is a good at-bat here for Isaac Rodriguez. And this is a guy who also wants to run his own business like his mother and grandmother before him. Not sure what kind of business we're talking about here, but that's something we got to ask him. Strike three looking on the outside corner. This one was a little bit closer than the last one that we saw that ended the inning in the previous one, and Isaac Rodriguez was not happy about that call again. So one away here with Cato Kleiman still at second base. It's the third strikeout for Caleb Garrison. And here's Michael Gonzalez for the fourth time tonight. Here's the first pitch. Tried the changeup, missed it up high.
And watch the awareness at second base, because we got Wagner. He's moving in closer, anticipating a pickoff from Garrison. You saw that, and Garrison decided to play it safe. He just threw the pitch instead.
Here's the 0-1 delivery, or 1-0 delivery, I should say, and fouls it off to the back net. 1-1 is the count. And this is a guy who also has a lot of pretty good stats. 39 games, 353 batting average, 33 RBIs, 18 steals, and 9 doubles at College of the Desert. As they try to go pick off at second base with Cato Kleiman staying back.
And there's that warning shot I anticipated, because we haven't seen any stolen bases since Garrison relieved Aboud.
Next delivery, big swing and a miss on a pitch that went into dirt. And Michael Gonzalez will take a bit of a timeout here to reset. And Cato Kleiman has been trailing that second base side for a minute. They haven't really been covering him there, but this time Wagner is very close to that second base now. See if he can try to keep him there. Cato goes, kind of. Double takes and a single to the right field side. Rubio will throw to home plate. Misses the catcher, Desmond, but Cato Kleiman decides to stay at third. So a single here for Michael Gonzalez. And now there's runners at the corners.
And once again, it was in right field, so they're really making Rubio work. It was a lot like Rylan Evans on Saturday. And so once you see the adjustments that the Power have made, it's not just that they're playing more aggressively on defense. They're diving for balls. They're trying to take out the base runner before they get that extra base. But now at the plate, you're seeing them go the extra base. You're seeing them go after those pitches that they normally wouldn't. That is the adjustment to the adjustment that Power needed to make, and they've done it.
And like always, they're extremely aggressive on base running, but Cato Kleiman looked like he wanted to come home on that throw on the relay from Rubio, and even though the throw was offline, it was a good call by Casey Dill to at least keep Cato there at third base. Probably would have been thrown out, just like earlier in the game where Michael Gonzalez was taken down on a relay, and here's Jamal Ritter, who has been pretty hot tonight. The only time he's been taken out was a put out from the first baseman. Before that, 2 singles.
Yeah, 2 singles and 2 runs. One thing in particular, though, is Jamal Ritter does very well that Mike Gonzalez just did, as he isn't afraid to swing at a pitch that he just missed at when it comes at him again right after the strike. And we're going to see just this matchup between Garrison and Ritter, which way it goes, because he got a piece of the ball on the first pitch of his first at bat against Garrison.
So 2 pitches already. 1 pitch missed outside. The second one was fouled off by Jamal Ritter as he went swinging into the dirt. Runners at the corners here with 1 away. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Power still up 6-2. Listening here on Fox Sports 1270 AM radio on Palm Springs Power YouTube. 1-1 delivery. Jamal Ritter sends it flying to center field. Backing up is Kim. He will make the over-the-head catch. Tagging up and scoring will be Cato Kleiman. And just like that, Michael Gonzalez also moves to second. So 7-2 ball game for the Power now as they add an extra run.
That's just what they need, and you saw a little bit of a repeat of last time when the flyout to Williams should have been caught, but it wasn't. Kim, he made the adjustment. He didn't just stand there waiting for him like Williams did. And he sort of had a reason to because it was coming right at him. But the problem was he just jumped too late. Kim, he turned around. He waited for it at just the right spot at just the right time.
Better adjustment that time on the pop fly. Able to recognize it clearly. Here's Miles Walton. Watches the first pitch, breaking pitch in their first strike. And that was the first run since the 2nd inning for the Power after they drove in 6 runs in total. And next one's in there for a strike as well, so he goes back-to-back with the changeup. And Miles Walton was not biting on any of them.
Yeah, Miles Walton was retired to end the 4th inning. See if he's retired here to end the 6th.
Grounds it over the head of the pitcher, and then scooped up by Wagner. He throws a first to get the final out. They leave 1 on base, but the Power add another run to the board as we're off to the 7th inning here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel on Fox Sports 1270 AM radio.
Everyone knows good things come in threes, like our eat, drink, and play combo for just $19.99. Maybe the saying should be good things come in 19.99s. Maybe not. The Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, and Play combo for just $19.99.
Try our big, beautiful all-day menu with more than 70 delicious dishes and our award-winning 3-course brunch for only $27.99. At Palm Springs' most popular restaurant, there's always a party at Lulu.
Jessup Auto Plaza has been proudly serving the Coachella Valley since 1938 as your trusted family-owned auto destination. Now, electrify your drive with the Valley's most extensive range of electric vehicles. Drive the Chevrolet Blazer, Equinox, Silverado, the powerful GMC Hummer, Sierra, and the distinctive Cadillac Lyriq. Silent power, bold performance. Electrify your drive. Jessup Auto Plaza. Since 1938, the EV brands you love, the family you trust.
Back here on Palm Springs Power YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM radio. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez on my side. Power able to add another run to the board, making it 7-2 as we're off here in the top of the 7th inning. And new pitcher for the Power, Lucas Zach, will be in relief here. Probably the tallest guy on the pitching staff at 6'4", 225 pounds from Lake Arrowhead. He'll face off against the chunk of the order for the anchors, Paul Wagner, John Klinkenbeard, and Titus Wheelock.
So Andrew Baltazar, he is done after 2 innings, 41 pitches, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, no hits, and 1 run, which was earned. So it's funny when you give up a run with that kind of stat line, but there's no hits involved, and he faced 12 batters.
That first pitch from Lucas Zach in there for a strike. That was a nifty heater here to Paul Wagner, who has already gotten on base with a single to start off in his first at-bat. Next pitch on the flip side of the strike zone, but it misses inside, 1-1 count. This is a guy who's also seen a few starts as well, but here in this relief effort for Jaden McNeely and Andrew Baltazar. Fouls out the next pitch on the 1-1 to Paul Wagner. And this is, right now it seems like Andrew Baltazar would be in line for the win since Jalen McNeely didn't go to the 5 innings pitched. But Lucas Zach could do that if he's able to go through maybe at least 2 and 1/3. Here's the 1-2 delivery. That one is low.
And Lucas Zach, he was a redshirt freshman this past season at California Baptist, but still played in the Lancers fell to the Utah Tech Trailblazers in the WAC tournament. He just had 2 appearances in which he only pitched .1 innings.
Previous pitch was upstairs for a full count now to Paul Wagner, as Lucas Zach will try to see if he can avoid a leadoff walk. Here's a 3-2 pitch on the way. Way inside. Somehow Paul Wagner did his best impression to get out of it, and he doesn't get hit by the pitch, but he's on with a walk.
Yeah, just like just like Paul Wagner before him, John Klinkenbeard walked in his last at-bat back in the 5th inning.
So it seems like the anchors have started to become a little bit conservative on the bats, just taking pitches whatever they can and being less aggressive so. And here's John Klinkenbeard as he goes after the first pitch, swing and a miss. Lucas Zach is a local kid from this area, born in Palm Springs, moved out. Father played rugby at University of San Diego and wants to become an orthopedic surgeon. How about that? So a smart kid on the mound and also a really big athlete, especially when you look at his bloodline. That last pitch was low in the dirt for a 1-1 count to John Klinkenbeard.
Yeah, John Klinkenbeard currently played at Hartnell College, and rumblings that he might transfer to the University of San Francisco to play for the Dons.
Pops it up in the air down the third base line, and it looks in out of play as Cato Kleiman will race over in the bullpen of the Power and make the catch to retire John Klinkenbeard. So 1 away in the top of the 7th. Titus Wheelock will step in. Not a whole lot of success in the batter's box so far, but able to drive in a run, securing a walk after 3 of them were handed out to Baltazar. That was the only run since the top of the first inning for the Anchors, who are behind 5 runs. First pitch is in there for a strike, looking down low on the strike zone. You got the call to Wheelock here. 1 away in the top of the 7th.
And it seems like Casey Dill is usually ahead of the curve when it comes to making changes on the mound. And the changes he made in the 1 loss this season should have worked. It just wasn't the Power's night. And now you see Lucas Zach coming in the 7th, preserving the lead. He could be in line for the win if he does a better job once he's done than Baltazar.
See if that holds up. 1-1 count after the pitch was way inside for Wheelock. He this time checks over at first base with Paul Wagner still there. Hudson Myers is in the bullpen right now, warming up just in case. 6'3", 250 pounds from Beaumont, California. Here's the 1-1 delivery from Lucas Zach. Way outside, good stop, and secured by Casey Kleiman behind the plate.
And you have a long day tomorrow because you are scoring the game at the high school field, and then you're doing play-by-play again here tomorrow night. So what are you going to do in that couple-hour break?
Eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That pitch was inside. Missed it for a 3-1 count now to Titus Wheelock. Can't go wrong with a PB&J, my friend. That's all I got to say.
I went and did laundry. I was as quick as I could be, but because I knew I was not going to have enough time tonight nor tomorrow morning. I got to get my polos all clean and fresh.
There you go. Look good. Popped up in the air and fouled out of play. This will make it a full count to Titus Wheelock here.
worked the count to full. This is not the first time Titus Wheelock has faced a full count, and he walked in the 5th on a 3-2 pitch.
Here's the next delivery. Fouls it off. He fends it off to the right field side and way out of play. Parker Hellickson will be right behind him awaiting on deck, and Paul Azadi will be there in the hole. This is the power side of the lineup for the Anchors here, as they're looking to bring the ship into the harbor, but right now the Power are keeping that boat at bay. 7-2 ball game here in the top of the 7th. That pitch is missed low. So Titus Wheelock, back-to-back full counts, able to draw 2 walks. And 2 walks here in the top of the 7th, has runners at first and second now.
And Parker Hellickson, he's 0 for 3. A swinging strikeout to end the first, and a fly out to shortstop to lead off in the 4th, and grounded out to first to end the 5th.
First pitch, it low and below the strike zone to Hellickson by Lucas Zach. Who has made 2 game starts so far this season, 8 innings in total, 33 batters faced, 7 strikeouts on the season. Here's the next delivery, 0-1-0. It's upstairs and outside for a 2-0 count to Hellickson. Right now he's handing out a 1.12 ERA to batters on the opposing side, and the majority of those pitches are being strikes in that zone. His whip is a .62 this season.
And Lucas Zach, he has quite the arsenal, and we're going to have an infield meeting real fast. He has a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, a slider, and a changeup. He's mostly been hammering the 4-seam fastball and the slider so far here in the 7th inning. And granted, I don't know if they have any sort of pitch tracker here in the opposing dugout, what kind of equipment they brought. But if he stays in long enough to face the order a second time, he's going to have to shuffle things up a bit.
The 2-0 pitch here from Zach. Swing and a miss on the fastball. They try to go back to second. Bounces out of the way of Rodriguez, and a good job from Gonzalez to back him up at that second base spot. So everyone stays where they are. Wagner gets back at second. Still Wheelock at first base. So 2-1 count on the way for Hellickson. It was just, like you said, with a high-speed fastball. Might want to try to use that a little bit more here. Here's the delivery, 2-1. Fouls it off on another back-to-back heater.
And he could have gotten that in fair territory, but he swung a hair too late, and it hit the very end of the bat and went foul. And that, if you're going to catch them with that speed like that, then it doesn't hurt to try again.
We'll see what he does on a 2-2 count here. If he'll go with the changeup, perhaps, or continue to pound that fastball. Hellickson will have to lock in on the timing. Here's the next pitch. It's inside. So now another full count here for the second batter in a row for the Anchors.
And the third in this inning, and that's kind of the issue. The ball count widely exceeds the strike count so far for Lucas Zach, and that is what he has struggled with so far. Still looking for his first strikeout of the game.
And that one's in there for strike 3. Swing and a miss. This time he's able to strike him out. So there's the first strikeout of the evening for Lucas Zach, and 2 away here in the top of the 7th.
Gaetano Palazzari, 0 for 2. And was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. Didn't advance beyond first.
Here's the first pitch. Got a good piece of it into the outfield. It'll take a bounce to Walton as it grounds down. Turning around and going home will be Paul Wagner. The throw is offline as Titus Wheelock will go to third base on the ball that went way over the head of Lucas Zach behind the plate here. And now there's runners at second and third.
Costly mistake there, because you see these routine plays, and mostly the errors have been on the Alameda Anchors tonight, and now one bites the Power, and now it's a 4-run game once again. Slowly, they're keeping themselves in this game, but they're chipping away at that lead slowly, and with 2 outs, they're going to have to do something fast.
So Wheelock is at third right now. Not a lot of speed at the third base side. Right behind him is Palizotti after hitting the RBI single. Ball gets away from Casey Kleiman, but Titus Wheelock, like we said, not a whole lot of speed at the third base side, decides not to go as Casey Kleiman secures it on the first pitch 1-0 count here to Emmett Desmond. So it's a 7-3 ball game here in the top of the 7th. That was the first hit since the third inning for the Anchors. Able to cash in at least one run already. Here's the next delivery. Fouled off. And Palizotti just went after one pitch, sent it to the left field side, took a grounder in front of Walton, and overthrew his man as he was trying to at least make a play at home, what it seemed like, and it went over the head of Zach, and everybody else moved over. Here's the next delivery, 1-1. That one is low and misses the strike zone, 2-1.
Lucas Zach is up to 26 pitches now here in the 7th inning. It's the most for one inning that any pitcher, Alameda or Palm Springs, has had in one inning thus far.
Here's a 2-1 delivery. Swing and a miss, early swing. 2-2 count now. And Lucas Zach with a chance to get out of it. Limit the damage to yet another just a single run. The Anchors have left a total of 7 runners at the bags. They've had opportunities tonight, but haven't been able to cash in so far. Delivery swung on and missed, dropped third strike. Casey Kleiman picks it up, throws a first to end the inning and leave 2 on the bases. So Lucas Zach comes in relief, gives up a run, but limits the damage to just another one, and the Power still up 7-3 as we're off to the bottom of the 7th. 7-inning stretch on the way here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM radio.
The Management Trust is a 100% employee-owned company. Every employee has a vested interest in providing memorable experiences to every homeowner and board members of HOAs. It's a very powerful thing. No homeowners association is too small or too large for us to manage. From community maintenance services to customized absentee home care, the Management Trust provides just about every service any homeowner could ask for.
Hi, I'm Damien with the Management Trust. We're community management built differently for your homeowners association. To find out how, give me a call.
Whether you're building, landscaping, renovating, refreshing, or simply researching, rent the right size tools for your size jobs. In store, online, or in app at Sunbelt Rentals, where tools rule.
Back here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel, Fox Sports 1270 AM radio. Justin Lee and Charlie Gonzalez here in the Agua Caliente Casinos booth. Coming to you live. Power still up 7-3 after giving up a run in the last half inning with Lucas Zach in a relief effort. But the Power trying to tack on some extra ones as he'll face off against the meat of the order with Bryant O'Neill leading off, Mark Kirkland and KJ Moon in the hole. So here's the first pitch. Garrison still there up on the mound, and what has been a pretty good relief effort for Adam Aboud, who started off this game. He's gone through at least 4 innings so far and hasn't given up a whole lot of runs. Just 1 run he's given up. And he's got an 0-2 count here on Brian O'Neill, who swung on a miss on 2 different pitches.
You know, first he had the changeup low, and then he got it with the cutter, and it was a kind of a different trajectory, different path, but same result. It was off speed. He swung low and ended high and missed.
Here's the next delivery. That one's in the dirt this time. Some pretty good pitch selections from Caleb Garrison. Not a whole lot of Not a whole lot of, things given up here for the Power so far. Just a single run. And that one is lined to the right field side and out of play, just barely down that third base line.
Oh, that looked like it was fair because it bounced right, because there's the poles that are hanging up the Mister lines, and it bounced right but to the left of the line, it looked like, right out of my line of view, and it looked like it was fair, but I didn't get a clean view of it. They're going to say it's a foul ball.
Hopefully an umpire has the angle on it, so this will keep it a 1-2 count. What was a pretty good line driver from Bryant O'Neill that would basically have given him another massive double like he has done so far this season. It would have been number 8 if he could have driven that one in. Power still waiting on home run number 1 of the season, but that has been a trade-off between high-speed steals and extra base hits. So here's a 1-2 count on board for Bryant O'Neill as he leads off here in the bottom of the 7th. And that one got the inside corner, called strike 3. So that home plate umpire, John Kibble, has been calling a lot of those pitches on the inside corner, or that particular spot, strike 3, much of the night.
And you see it affects both right-handed batters, which was the controversial looking K for Casey Kleiman to end the 5th, and now a left-handed batter right in by his knee. So he's not letting the fact that, they're crowding the plate change where he sees the strike zone.
That first pitch in there in the dirt for Mark Kirkland, who was only singled here tonight. Just a flyout and a 4-3 putout that he grounded into. And Kirkland trying to get on board with the one away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. This one's right down the middle, but it's grounded to the second baseman. Wagner flips around to first base, resets his feet, and makes the play. 2 away.
And with that pitch, the relief pitcher, Caleb Garrison, has exceeded the pitch count that Adam Abowd had. So Adam Abowd finished with 59. Caleb Garrison just topped 60 there with that pitch that ended in a 4-3 ground out for out number 2. One other thing I want to mention, though, is Garrison has done a good job. We usually don't see relief pitchers that come in the third last this long, and that is because Alameda is probably saving their best pitchers for Game 2 tomorrow. They don't want to wear out their arm before they get a chance.
Well, there's a few guys on this roster that need to be made of as KJ Moon goes after the first pitch, grounds at the shortstop, and Cord makes the play to first base for another 1-2-3 inning. So the Power unable to get another run on the board, and we're off to the top of the 8th inning here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel, Fox Sports 1270 AM radio.
Try our big, beautiful all-day menu with more than 70 delicious dishes and our award-winning 3-course brunch for only $27.99. At Palm Springs' most popular restaurant, there's always a party at Lulu.
Back here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM radio. Justin Lee, Charlie Gonzalez in the booth. And the Power have gone through 7 innings. They're up 7-3 and 4 different pitchers. This will be number 4. Anthony Sanchez up on the mound here tonight as he will step in. He got a win last time he was out against the Inland Valley Legends on Friday, June 6th. Here's the first pitch in there and in for a ball to E.J. Cord.
The final line for Lucas Zach, 1 inning, 28 pitches, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 hit, and 1 run, which was earned.
Swing and a miss on an outside pitch. That was a good-looking one from Anthony Sanchez. And this is a guy who's in close to his final year of eligibility, senior from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Next pitch outside, misses, 2-1. And Sanchez plays at Viterbo University up in Wisconsin. He's here. He's been in this system for a while as that one's popped up in the air on the next swing, and Ritter will sit under it to make the catch.
And Ritter in line right now for player of the game, and he's had a couple of putouts as well. So he's slowly making a case for himself, and we could see him at the plate one more time in the bottom of the 8th inning.
The only man so far to have at least multiple hits compared to the rest of the lineup. 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 runs, and a stolen base. Pretty good line for Jamal Ritter once again. Here is Elias Rubio. That one's in there for a strike. Got the outside corner call. Not a lot of success for Rubio tonight. Fly out, sack bunt, and strikeout looking. Here's the next one. He fouls it off to the back net.
And this uniform matchup looks a lot like the PSCL matchup I scored earlier with the Bombers in banana yellow and the Colonials in cardinal red. And now here it is again tonight, but in Palm Springs Power.
That one's low in the dirt on the next pitch with 0-2 count. Now it's a 1-2 count.
Did you know that the reason fast food joints always use red and yellow is because it scientifically triggers people's hunger? It makes it stand out.
It's kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah.
That one's a swing and a miss into the glove of Casey Kleiman, strike 3. So swing and a miss here for Elias Rubio. That's 2 away now for the anchor. See, now that you mention it, when I look at the 2 jerseys, I am feeling a little hungry right
Yeah,
now.
you got ketchup on defense and mustard on offense.
First pitch in, misses for a 1-0 count. And if you're feeling hungry this upcoming June 13th, if you're a Palm Springs resident, come down to the ballpark and get yourself a hot dog combo for free and free admission with soda, chips, and a koozie when they play the Inland Valley Buccaneers. And then the next night would be City of Rancho Mirage night on June 14th for the second game against the Inland Valley Bucks. All of the Rancho Mirage residents will get a free tote bag when they make their entrance to the ballpark here. 3-0 count after 2 pitches that missed. Here's the next one, and that one's in there for a strike.
Yeah, Logan Kim came in to relieve Jafari Williams in the 6th.
Sends it opposite way between the 4-3 gap. That's a single for Logan Kim.
And it was a single, but considering how well KJ Moon read that and how close he was to the infield, had he been just a tad bit closer before this hit, we could have had a ball go into the outfield and still be a tag out, a ground out, which I've never seen happen before. It's a rare sight, but that is just how well KJ Moon read that. Just a little too late.
He's been very good at that right field position before, as Anthony Sanchez makes a nifty move to the first base side as he throws the first pitch and misses. The strike zone to Paul Wagner. It looks like he wanted that call. But here's a guy who also, if you notice on stream or see him in person, Anthony Sanchez does a lot of nifty moves to keep the runner at first there at where they at, instead of trying to let them steal that base. The next pitch in misses for a 2-0 count.
Yeah, and that would almost was a balk because he lifted up his leg and he was still facing first base, and then he turned his head the last second and pitched it. That could have been ruled a balk in some instances.
Next pitch is in there for a strike for a 2-1 count.
When you said, now here's a guy, I couldn't help but think of Chris Collinsworth.
We're not talking about Patrick Mahomes, thankfully.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. Here's a 2-1 delivery from Sanchez. Misses low. And I think the best way you put it with Anthony Sanchez's move is very much like a Yoshinobu Yamamoto when he goes into his windup, looks at whichever direction he's at, even if there's not a guy on base, but he kind of keeps him there with that look. That one's in there on the inside edge on the next pitch, 3-2 count now for Paul Wagner.
This is his second time in a row that he's faced a full count, and he had a leadoff walk in the 7th inning, and he came home to score a run.
And that one is in for a walk, so another one here for the anchor. That is 3 walks in a row for Paul Wagner, I should mention.
His on-base percentage is .800 because of 3 walks and 1 hit, so not too bad. And getting over to third in the 5th and getting a run scored last inning.
He's had himself a pretty good night so far in the box so far. Here's the first pitch that goes for a strike to John Klinkenbeard. 1 walk, single, and a fly out on a strikeout. So he's he's 1 for 3 so far tonight. Here's the next delivery, swing and a miss on an upstairs fastball. And it's 2 and away here in the top of the 8th inning. It's a 7-3 ball game if you're just joining us. Power still up on top. 0-2 count here to John Klinkenbeard with 2 gone and away, 2 men on first and second. Here's the next delivery, swing and a miss on the outside pitch. Anthony Sanchez sits them down and leaves 2 more on the bags for the anchors as we're off to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Whether you're building, landscaping, renovating, refreshing, or simply researching, rent the right size tools for your size jobs. In store, online, or in app at Sunbelt Rentals, where tools rule.
Outdoor living in the Coachella Valley is spectacular, and Tessera is the premier builder of outdoor living spaces in the desert. Nobody does it better than Tessera. From one end of this valley to the other, from Palm Springs to Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, to Indio and La Quinta. For 35 years, we've created the ultimate in outdoor living, landscaping, pools, and patios, so you and your family can enjoy each other. Live well. Live Tessera.
Shopping for car insurance is confusing. Holy cow.
Great. Now we have a cow in our kitchen. Why did you say that?
Because I don't know what coverage to choose.
So just say the State Farm jingle. A State Farm agent can go over all your options with you and help choose coverage that meets your needs. Dude, cow, could you move?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel, Fox Sports 1270 AM radio, Justin Lee and Charlie Gonzalez. Power still up 7-3 as we're off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1.5 to go, and it's still Garrison up on the mound, who has gone through 5 innings, and he's in his 6th inning of work as the first pitch is swung on and popped up in the air for Casey Kleiman into right field, and he's retired by the catch by Rubio.
And because Garrison is out there, it's probably the last inning that we're going to see Garrison out there on the mound. They're definitely preserving their arms for tomorrow. And they think, the game, it wasn't always like out of reach like early on, but as the game went on and they failed to chip away at that power lead, I think the coaches decided to keep Garrison in there and preserve their best shot for tomorrow.
Here's a first pitch that gets a piece of Cato Kleiman in the back as he turns around and makes a full 360, but he's okay as he stands up and goes to first.
Isaac Rodriguez, now we've gone through the whole order 4 total times tonight. He is 1 for 3, a single in the 2nd, flew out to end the 3rd, and a strikeout in the 6th. Oh, no, I apologize. It is 6. Cohen Goes is pinch hitting for Isaac Rodriguez. See, I saw the jersey, and I saw the 6. I thought there was a 1 next to it, and I was wrong. So Cohen Goes now in for Isaac Rodriguez.
So he steps in here for Isaac Rodriguez, who hasn't had a whole lot of success tonight. The first pitch he watches is in their first strike with Cato climbing at first base after hit by a pitch, one gone and away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So Cohen Go is getting a little bit of some extra playing time with the Power up 7-3. Goes after the next pitch, fouls it off. So Cohen Goes comes in here. Another guy from Mililani, Hawaii, is another Hawaiian native here tonight. That one's in there for a strike 3 looking. That was another edge called strike 3. Goes in this pinch hit coming off the bench, strikes out looking.
And Garrison Hurst has gone through 3 batters in just 5 pitches. First pitch, fly out for Casey Kleiman, hit by pitch on the first pitch to Cato Kleiman, and now struck out Cohen Goes in 3 pitches. And now we go back to the top of the order.
And here is Michael Gonzalez up to bat here. Sends a first pitch flying to the right field side and way out of play. So Caleb Garrison has had himself a pretty good night. It was pretty much just like a setup from Adam Aboud in all sense, but Garrison has done a decent job taking care of the Power, only giving up a handful or just 1 hit so far, I should say. But they have a lot of guys on the roster who could potentially be the starters tomorrow. 35, Will Sessler is potentially in the lineup there as the first pitch is missing for ball 1-1 count here to Michael Gonzalez. This is a guy from Eastern Oregon University and UC Riverside. And then they also have Blaze Hill from UNLV in Long Beach State, who throws an 85 to 87 mile per hour fastball. That one's sent flying to the right field side on the next hit from Michael Gonzalez, and sitting under it is Rubio for the catch to end the inning. So they leave one on base after hit by pitch. Power unable to put on one, but they're going to try to end it in the top of the 9th here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM radio.
Across the Coachella Valley, you'll find our communities powered by short-term rentals. These rentals bring visitors and dollars to the region. Whether attending events, checking out the art scene, or dining at restaurants, when they spend money, we all score. The nearly $1 billion impact of short-term vacation rentals generates tax revenues that fund police, firefighters, education, and many other programs that improve our daily lives. To learn why short-term rentals are a grand slam for the home team, visit onecv.org.
Hello, Power Baseball fans. At SBMP Attorneys, we believe in the power of community. And that's why we proudly support the Palm Springs Power, our hometown baseball team. After a memorable championship season in 2024, capping off the team's 20th anniversary, we're all very excited about the 2025 Power team. SBMP Attorneys and the Palm Springs Power are 2 teams that are committed to excellence, community, and the spirit of winning. We'll see you all at the ballpark.
So back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM radio, Palm Springs Power YouTube channel as well. Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez in what should be the final half inning, as the Power bring in their final potential pitcher of the night in Tyrone Woods in this relief effort. 5 different pitchers for the Power that they have used tonight. And Tyrone Woods is probably one of the guys to for sure do it here tonight, who was also in a flip-flop starter role earlier in the season. And he steps in here, just a fastball at 90 to 92, curveball, slider, changeup, and split finger, as he'll face off against Wheelock, Hellickson, and Polizzotti. There's the first delivery from Tyrone Woods. That one is jacked down the right field line, but way out of play anyways.
Tyrone Woods started in that first game against Inland Valley Legends and only lasted a couple innings. I met his father. He's a nice guy. He asked me about parking and stuff. But now he has a chance here to close the game and give the Power a 7-3 win.
Try to close it out here tonight.
Yeah, those from New York aren't used to parking on the streets, so it's good that he asked someone who's from Los Angeles.
Mostly parking meters in New York.
And, yeah, or no parking meters at all and just red curbs.
That's true. 2-1 is the count to tie this Wheelock here. Tyrone Woods from Alexander, New York. Down the line, grounded to Kirkland, and Tyrone Woods will get the secure catch. It's a 3-1 put away for the first out. So Anchors down to their final 2 outs. And next batter up here for the Alameda Anchors is Kai Gullikson. So he'll take the spot of Parker Hellickson here. First pitch in there for a strike.
And Hellickson, he's 0 for 4 today, just wants to get on base just one time late in the game, just so he could say that he never made it on. He didn't go 0 for 5.
That one's also in there for a strike. So Kai Gullikson trying to fend off some heat here from Tyrone Woods. He goes to the outside corner but misses. It's a 1-2 count here to Kai. From Cal State University, Monterey Bay, hometown in Napa, California. Here's the next delivery. Swing and a miss. Right into the glove. Tipped in, and Casey Kleiman takes the second out.
Now down to their final at-bat, potentially, Gaetano Polizzotti.
Polizzotti will step in against Tyrone Woods. Try to get the final out here in what has been a eventful game. 5 hits for the Anchors, 9 hits for the Power, 7 runs for the Power, and 3 for the Anchors. We're definitely saving a handful of arms tomorrow. Here's the next delivery. It's a 1-0 count. Fouled off. We talked about some of the more talented guys on that pitching staff. So expect the guys like Blaze Hill and Will Seslar to come in tomorrow night. Here's the 1-1 delivery from Woods. Outside, 2-1. So again, tomorrow night would be Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce Summer Social tomorrow against the Alameda Anchors in Game 2. That's at 6:30 p.m. if you're joining us. $5 margaritas on a Wild Wednesday, as that one's popped up in the air, right first base line, but 2 out of play for Mark Kirkland to do anything on that pop fly.
He really lunged over the fence.
Really wanted that one so he could go back into the locker room and enjoy himself a good meal.
I wonder what they're getting to eat tonight.
It's a good question. I think we get the leftovers. 2-2 count here. Here's the next delivery. Grounds it down the third base line, and Cato's Kleiman stumbled as he tried to go for it. Probably thought about it just for a second and double takes it, and it goes into left field. So the game's not over yet.
Now Emmett Desmond coming to the plate, who has struck out all 4 plate appearances.
This is a guy that has not had a lot of success at the batter's box tonight. I was stumbling on my words, my goodness. Struck out 4 times tonight. 2 looking, 2 swinging. And the first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. The Anchors have had a lot of chances to score a lot of runs tonight. The next one is in there for a strike.
The thing that they're going to look at the most, though, is leaving the bases loaded in the 5th inning. And when Parker Hellickson grounded out to first base, and because they had the tying run coming up to the plate at that point, And there were gaps in the outfield that did they get the meat of the bat on the ball. They could have knocked in 2, perhaps 3 runs. It just didn't go their way.
Here's a 2-1 delivery. Popped up in the air. That one's lined out to left field. Walton's going back towards that track at the wall. It bounces in front of him at the warning track. This will score 1, and it's a double for Emmett Desmond, who sends one flying to the left field side. That almost looked like it was going out, but he scores. Polizzotti, it's 7-4 now.
That was definitely the closest any hit ball was to being a home run, as it bounced on the warning track and it forced Miles Walton in left field to go all the way to the wall before he even had possession of it. And so that one, in most ballparks, even in the major leagues, that's gone. That's a homer. But the dimensions here, 350 to left, 350 to right, 400 in center. It's definitely one of the hardest ballparks to hit a home run in.
MLB links at the center field side and the corners. Here's the first pitch. It's grounded and foul for E.J. Cord. Who has some light success tonight. A walk, hit by pitch, single so far in this game, and a man at second, and Edmund Desmond, who just knocked an RBI double. So the anchor's not going quietly to end this first game of 2 throughout this week. Here on Tuesday and tomorrow, Wednesday. Here's the 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Good stop by Casey Kleiman. There's a little too much deuce as it landed in front of the plate. And Casey Kleiman was able to scoop it up and stop that. There's a 1-1 delivery from Woods. Fastball fouled off.
No people sitting in the VIP section down on field level today.
Not a lot today. They're having
yeah,
a good time hanging out on the fence here.
Yeah, because a lot of the fans, they were wearing wristbands that usually get you down to that level, but no one sat down there today.
Fouled off by E.J. Cord. He's keeping this game alive with a 1-2 count still, as he's down to the final strike, and the Anchors are down to the final out of the evening here in the top of the 9th. 7-4 ball game. Power trying to get another win. Here's the next delivery. Swing and a miss on the outside pitch. Down goes E.J. Cord, and say goodnight to the Anchors as the Powers get away with a 7-4 victory tonight. It was an all-team effort for the pitching here tonight. But again, Jamal Ritter had himself another pretty good outing again.
You know what? Looking at this game, that both teams seem pretty even based on what the coaches were saying and based on what us amongst colleagues and broadcasters were saying. But the Power took care of business. It looked like it was going to be a neck-and-neck fight to the end, because you have that throwing error by Isaac Rodriguez at second base to bring home the first run, and then in the bottom of the first, the Power took a 2-1 lead and never looked back and never lost the lead. This was a well-fought game. It looks like it's going to be Andrew Baltazar as the winning pitcher, and the loss will go to Adam Aboud.
And the Power walk away with another win tonight against the Anchors. They'll take on the Anchors tomorrow night on Wednesday, on Wild Wednesday. $5 margaritas, you're going to join us. But Power walk away with another huge win, 7-4, the final score. And what the Anchors wanted, were saying no quit in that game. And it's a good one here tonight. So, for all of us here on Fox Sports 1270 AM radio on Palm Springs Power Baseball, my name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez. And as we say to our family and friends at home, we say goodnight from Palm Springs.